Welcome, everybody, to the CrossFire podcast where, God, it is just good to get back on the air. It's only been since Wednesday, and I've been chomping at the bit. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, too. Little inside information for everyone. Originally was going to have some plans with some family and things going on tonight. That's been moved to next Friday. So the minute I got word of that, I got a hold of crap at like midnight last night. I said, whatever you're doing, knock it off your schedule. CrossFire's back on. So couldn't wait to get back on here. A lot of hot subjects, a lot of things. A little bit of leaks came out today. We'll go over that and see what the panel thinks. But without further ado, let me start with the one, the only. It's 701 in his house all the time. Crap Gamer, welcome, buddy.
What's up, everybody? Yeah, you know, it's good to be here. I was like, man, I was disappointed when you weren't going to do CrossFire this week because I know there's actually a lot of stuff to talk about, and it's pre-Gamescom. So, you know, I was like a little bit disappointed. And you're like, yeah, it looks like we're going to be able to go. And I was like, all right, that's cool, you know. So happy to be here. A lot of stuff to talk about. So let's get going.
Let's do this. Next on our panel here, one of my usual suspects. He's making sauce Wally podcast. Clowns, welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, what's up, man? I'm still looking for a calzone, you know, crap.
He's still wandering around with He's got blisters on his feet, crap. Okay,
I'll trade you some Starburst, bro.
Another usual suspect we got here. The new man, the new king of Twitter. He's everywhere. He's probably in your DMs. Boom Bostic. What's up, Boom? Welcome back.
Hey, what's going on, everyone out there? Thanks for tuning in today, and it is absolutely an honor to be on again. And there has been a lot of highs and lows this year as a Microsoft fan, and we're going to get into it.
I'm glad, Boom. We were talking about it a little before the show. We're definitely going to be seeing how you feel about now. There's a lot of the ups and downs of things we've speculated over the months, but they're all coming to fruition now. We'll talk a little bit more about that in depth in a second. But let me get to the guy that I'm renaming. He is the Don. He will now be known as Triple D. It's Don Dev. Dev, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you tonight?
Hey, what's up? Not quite the X-Bot introduction, but I will take
The
it.
Don!
The Don! He does it in the 1980s WWE style that I just can't
There's usually fireworks
emulate.
going off on the show, too, and everything.
He's like, kiss that ring.
Kiss that ring! So it's nobody can do what X-Bot. I think he's got probably the best introductions in podcasting. And then another good friend of mine who I asked to come on today. He's been extremely opinionated. He's got videos popping out left and right. Colt Eastwood, welcome back to the show, bro. How you been?
Thank you. I've been fighting the good fight, I'll tell you what.
I'm telling you, isn't it something?
It's crazy. Double standards, bias, just absolute blanket statements nonstop. And I'm trying to make videos just to sit it all right, I think.
I don't think you can make them fast enough to get this thing straightened out. But, you know, I'm telling you, I appreciate everything you do, Colt. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's get into it here, folks. One of the things I want to do is open with kind of a statement here. A lot of people listen to all these podcasts, okay, myself included. I listen to a lot of other people's podcasts. There's some I tune into because I'm genuinely interested in the way that they handle news, the way that they strike their opinions, and things are interesting to me on the way certain people present things. I think that goes for everybody. It's why you have your favorite author. It's why you have your favorite news anchor. It's the reason you have your favorite football team, okay? It doesn't matter what the subject is. That's why you tune into that particular brand. Us here at this, well, I'll speak for myself. I'll let the other panel who talk for their own channels. Here we talk about certain subjects in news that go on. If you don't like it, you don't have to agree with it. It is an opinion-based show. It is here for your entertainment. And truly, we are fans here. I'm a fan of Xbox. I do really like that brand over other gaming consoles. Doesn't mean I don't like the other ones, but my point being is this. When we give an opinion on something, it doesn't mean we're the all, it's the bottom line, we're the devil. It's nothing like that. It's an opinion. And folks, you all like to tune in, okay? It's 2 hours every other day, depending on the podcast you listen to. We have to talk about something. So, with no further ado, let's get into what I like to say is the Crackdown 3 aftermath of what's going on. A lot of people don't seem to understand the situation. I think I've seen enough videos now on podcasts where we've all said the delay is warranted. We understand that. The delay is not really the thing at hand that we all have a problem with. I think what we have a problem with is this game's been delayed twice. This game has been shown on the biggest stage in gaming history, which is E3, with a release date, and then gets pushed back. And then when somebody just happens to bring up, I mean, it is a subject. Is there something wrong in Redmond? You know, you've got a lot of people being like, how dare you go there? Why would we not go there? I mean, any article piece, no matter what you're reading, whether it's politics or sports, on the paper on Monday morning, when something awkward happens over the weekend, somebody questions somebody in some sort of authoritative position. And that's all we do on podcasts. So if you don't understand that, I don't really know what it is you want us to talk about. Without further ado, guys on the panel, what do you think about what's going on? I understand that you all have no problem with a delay, because what is the problem with a delay? Nothing. It makes the game better. But what is the real issue here, Crap?
Here's the thing, right? The Crackdown 3 delay, whoop-de-doo, que sera, sera. I mean, it just goes par for the course this generation, where pretty much every game gets delayed.
That's right.
It bums me out as a gamer because you're looking forward to it.
Yes.
On the other hand, I had heard that the game wasn't, and you had heard it too, the game wasn't going to launch with the multiplayer.
Right.
That would have been the kiss of death. Another franchise that would have come out this gen on the Xbox One that would have been ruined. Much like Rise will never see a sequel. Sunset Overdrive will never see a sequel. These games get the kiss of death. And fucking up Crackdown by releasing it in the state it would have been the kiss of death. So delay it. I get that. The larger picture is, since Shannon Loftus took over Phil's job, she has done a piss poor job, probably the worst job that I've ever seen. She doesn't know what she's doing. She should be fired. You have a certain amount of time to do things. Even the games earlier in the generation, those are Phil's. Like, Phil had that job, and was the Rise of the Tomb Raider was a Phil thing.
Yeah, I think Phil knocked it out
was
of
a
the
Phil
park.
thing.
Yeah.
Phil bought the Gears IP. Phil bought Minecraft. Phil. Not saying that Phil didn't fuck up, but she's been in charge now of getting in new games, and she has done a really bad job of that.
Mm-hmm.
This year, I have to say, is the most pathetic output of first-party exclusives I have ever seen in my goddamn life.
Yeah.
And as an Xbox fan, we should all be feeling that way. Not, it's not that I'm bashing Xbox, but we should feel gypped by the company that we support most because they aren't supporting us back.
Yeah.
Halo Wars 2 and Forza Motorsport 7. Those are your big AAA first-party studios. That is unacceptable.
No, it's not.
And,
and to go a step further, Crap, we talked about this earlier in the year, and a lot of people were putting out their list wars. And I don't know if it's necessarily the first-party studio reps, in this case, Shannon's job, but like the Nier Automatas and the Hellblades and all these games, the Nihos, that are all only on Sony, and they're not their first party. Isn't that somebody's job? And I don't know if it's Shannon's or not. Somebody at Microsoft has to be responsible to be able to go get those games and bring those to this console as well, because Sony hasn't had a plethora of first party either.
Yeah, if you look,
they've had a lot of third party locked down.
Yeah, if you look at what they're getting, they have good third party relations for some reason. So companies, and a lot of these, to be fair, are Japanese, so you can see why they get a little bit of that. Also, you have the big disparity and discrepancy between sales. So a lot of developers will look at the sales of the PS4, which are very open. Mm-hmm. They're like 63 million. They shove it down your throat. And so Microsoft's like, pork sandwiches eaten is up 5%. Who play on Xbox Live? That was a joke yesterday on Twitter. But yeah, so like which one would you rather go with? Seriously.
You know what, though, if I can jump in here real quick, the issue, Crap, and I 100% agree with you. You see, Shannon Loftus is responsible for first and second party games. Mm-hmm. And it is blatantly obvious. Again, I am not a businessman. I'm just a guy on a podcast speaking his mind. And I am sorry to say that after the first year, that it's not working out right, that games are coming out and they're failing and they're getting 6s and 7s. A conversation is, you bring someone into you, say, listen, we need to do better. Year 2, the same thing is happening, but the scores are going down and the sales are going down. More franchises that will never get sequels. A conversation needs to happen. Now, 3 years later, we have 2 first-party games in a 12-month period for the Xbox. I don't like seeing people lose their jobs, but absolutely. Something in Redmond needs to change. A narrative change is necessary if they want to remain. Yeah. Even now they're in third place.
And it's funny, a lot of people that are criticizing, they're like, how dare you say something like that? Boom. How dare you? These are the same people that take pictures and selfies with their favorite sports teams on their heads. And they're the same ones that are like, I got to get rid of this manager. Who would ever put that guy at third base?
What's the over-under for selfies from those people, you know, and like I said, I'll be the bad guy if people want to go, oh man, because I know everybody's just so nice nowadays. We don't want anybody to lose their job. But the bottom line is, no matter what job you have, if you don't do your job well, you're out.
Yes,
coaches.
Correct.
Well, I mean, I work for myself, but if I suck, people aren't going to hire me, right? So that's basically what it comes down to.
That's the beauty of capitalism, right? It
yeah,
doesn't work, you're out.
So hey, sorry, the person that's probably worth $1 million or slightly less will have to go do something else. Right. You know, maybe take the job a little bit more seriously, understand that you're providing a service for hardcore gamers. And if you ever look at her feed on Twitter or anything, it's mostly like Nintendo Switch stuff or you know, Candy Crush type stuff. That's the person leading your first party of the most core box in the world, in my opinion, which is what and they're trying to be core again, and they're trying to be hardcore by going after power like the original Xbox, but you don't have the exclusives to back it up. Right. I mean, you're going to be able to be the best place to play every other game, but you don't have those killer games.
And I got a few things to say, but I do want to hear from Don and Colt too, because I know these guys have something to say on this. What do you guys think about it?
You know, one thing is, you know, love or hate both Crap or Mooch, right? The harshness they're having on Xbox right now is the same harshness they had on PlayStation back in 2015, right? True. When they had no games, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know,
thank you, Don.
One of my biggest things is you have to be consistent no matter what it is, right? Sometimes you have to draw that parallel between one console platform and the other. Now, I wasn't on YouTube at that time, so I didn't express myself. I will be honest with you. I didn't buy the platform at that time, the PlayStation. So I wasn't upset, you know, because they didn't really offer the games that I needed to buy into that platform. The difference with Xbox right now is they have a library. And this is the one low. So there is a slight difference between the two different platforms. And I also think there's another difference between, and this is going to come off as damage control, but I think Crackdown is above Shannon in a lot of ways. And the reason I say that is cloud compute. Cloud compute is not just Phil's baby. It's Satya's. I keep saying this. It is Satya's baby. And this game represents more than just Xbox as a platform. It represents their cloud service. And that's huge. And so they have to get this right. They can't be muddled with like a half-done multiplayer or multiplayer that's staggered. It's not Halo. You can't do that. Like, you know, you take Halo 5. Right. It kind of had that staggered release, and it was kind of sparse. And honestly, I didn't like how they did the multiplayer at first. Now, what it grew into, I loved, right? I don't think people are going to be as forgiving with Crackdown, what it really comes right down to. So I think this decision is not, you know, now I'm not going to try to take too much away from Shannon or anything like in her responsibilities, but I think these sort of decisions came above and beyond what she's just in charge of. There's a bigger picture here that's going on because it represents more than one platform. It represents PC, Xbox.
I think you make a good point. The one thing that does fall in her category is a little bit more of like Crap was being general, but his general discussion actually hit home because since she's taken over, if it is true, like Phil's the one that was responsible for Rise of the Tomb Raider, this and that, if he went out there and did all these things and brought these people in, that's the thing. When he took over, is watching everything. I mean, he's flying to England, checking on the rare guys. Then he's over here. Then he's over there. Plus, he prepares a month and a half ahead of time for E3. He's got board meetings, this and that, things that Shannon and those others don't have to sit in on. I mean, myself personally, you know what I think is the best? And I hope he's listening. I really do. You want to hear the best 1-2 combo at Xbox right now? Mike Ibarra as president of Xbox, and Phil goes back to his original seat as head of first-party, second-party games. That's the best combo you can get in the current staff, and then you can jumble the rest around to what their strengths and their weaknesses. Look,
hire Mooch and Crap, man.
Absolutely.
I'd have Xbox straightened out real fast. First of all, okay, you're the PC thing, right? Xbox or Microsoft, but guess what? Xbox ain't PC, folk. Let's stop that play anywhere nonsense. Right. Next up, let's go ahead and get some open some new studios and let our tent poles keep doing what they do. You know, give them the resources to keep doing. Let's keep cranking out the Halos and Forzas and Gears because those are what the fans want. It looks like they'll have a hit with Sea of Thieves. You know, get rid of anybody that's just larking around on their ass that takes latte breaks 10 times a day, that needs a safe space to think or a think tank space. You know, shake things up.
Yeah.
You got to put the fear of God in these people sometimes, you know, and that's what Microsoft needs to do. I'd be on their ass all the time. You can't just go, oh, well, it's okay. It's okay. You have to pressure these people. This is your job. Do your job, right? It's not asking too much. It's not being harsh. It's not, oh, crap wants people to get fired or anything like this. It's do your job. Their jobs are to make games.
Right.
They're not doing their job.
We've waited a long time too, Crap. I mean, this is 3 years under new leadership.
Yes.
So
and here's the thing, right? You would think, well, let's give them next year. But I already know what's coming next year. We all do. We all know what's coming next year. You know what's coming next year? Let me spell it out for you. Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2. Those are coming earlier next year. Those are 3 games that should have been out years ago.
Right.
Years ago. And then to end it, they're most likely going to do a Halo 6, Forza Horizon 4. Now, that's a good lineup, I admit. But the problem is, those games, for the most part, should have been out before. And then what comes after that? Like, when do we start hearing about stuff after that, right? It's like the moment, remember 2 years ago, everybody made a big deal out of it because she's like, we've got 15 games in development that nobody knows about. I counted them off and knew every fucking one of them.
Right.
So you knew there was nothing new.
Not just that, but I feel like we had discussions months ago, and we all kind of determined that Halo 6 probably would actually be pushed off to 19.
I think Halo 6 is got.
I don't think they can wait that long.
Yeah, I agree, Mooch. I don't think they can. I think it would be disastrous.
Yeah, it'll look like their E3 will look like their an Ouya E3 at that point.
Well, I got a question for you guys.
Go ahead,
there he is, clowns.
Clowns here.
22 minutes in, we got him.
Still can't find a calzone. So, is Shannon Loftus the only one in charge of getting games for?
She's in charge. She's the head of that department.
She's the head of the first and second party, getting those games going.
Maybe she just needs some help. Maybe they should take some guys off the latte breaks, send them to her team, so they can go out there and try to find new stuff.
I was looking at their schedule, and they're allowed at least an hour and a half of lattes a day. And then there's 2 hours of selfie time. Yeah. Then they have their nap, and then they have their. Don't
forget about playing the Nintendo Switch and taking.
Yes, they've got Switch time. Then they've got PS4 time, and then they've got social media time, and then they've got they each get affirmation a day. So they've got that.
Why? I mean, every day you see everybody that works for Microsoft. Everybody's tweeting out. They're like, "I love working here." No shit. Like it's like
yeah.
Who the hell does it? I mean, you didn't win the lottery, but it's
you don't do anything. Now. Hey, that's the best job in the fucking world. You do shit.
Don't ruin my opportunity. I thought about applying there. I thought the lattes were good. You know, the stands there and stuff. I wanted to hang out, play some basketball and break, and
an 8-hour day equals 35 minutes of work time.
Hey, it's only 8 hours if you want to do 8 hours, right? Most of the time, you're taking a nap or something, or. You're probably getting some kind of participation there. Yeah, and you're getting participation trophies. It's great. Come on, like hey, like Mike, they probably get every MPD that comes out and they get their ass kicked. And this last one, you get under 100K. That's okay. I mean, those are worse than Wii U numbers, but hey, they probably got participation.
Well, you know what's funny? You don't see anybody from Sony tweeting out how great their day is and how many creams and sugars they take in their coffee. We don't see anybody from Apple tweeting out anything. The only time I follow a lot of Apple people. The only time I ever see them tweet anything is 24 hours before the big keynote that they do in September and June. That's the only time when they're like, now you may tweet. Okay, Apple, these guys are just, it just seems like it's lackadaisy. And all it is like, hey, did you play this yet? No, I didn't get to yet. When I will, when I get home. See you later, Shan. Peace. And it's like they go back and forth all day long. And I'm like, who's doing something in there? Does anybody care? And I don't know. For some reason, it's like we see
high five, selfies,
and it's like, let me get this though. Colt, what's your take on it from the outside looking in?
Oh, for fudge sakes.
Get in here.
Colt's just fanboying out right now. He's like, damn.
There's a huge problem because, oh my gosh, because right now the Sony gamers have been holding it over us all year that they have, the Xbox has no games.
Yes.
What really drives me absolutely crazy is that from 2013 to 2016, right before Horizon Zero Dawn came out, in my opinion, Xbox and PS4 had the same amount of exclusives. They were Metacritic and aggregate scores are the same. I've done videos on this. And then all of a sudden, Greatness Awaits showed up with Horizon Zero Dawn, Neo, Persona, just all these games that they've had. And now Sony gamers are just telling us where's your games? You got no games. Look, man, yes, you're right. We finally, this is where you don't have us on the games thing. but it's just driving me crazy because there's all these games that PS4 is getting that is on Sony's and on PC, and I don't understand why. I'm like, what are these devs doing? Like they're looking at, let's say it's 35 million consoles sold for the Xbox, right? You guys agree? Maybe around 35?
Yes, okay, I agree. That's a smart way to put it.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 35 million consoles. That is no slouch. It doesn't mean that the Xbox didn't sell, so I'm not going to put my game. What is a game like Undertale, a little PC retro 2D game, going to PS4 this holiday, and it's not coming to Xbox?
Right.
There's no excuse. Like the developers are like, well, we'd like to put it on Xbox, but the API, we can't really work with it, and it's not powerful enough, so we're just going to throw it on the all-powerful PS4. That's what the problem is.
Right.
You guys just went on for 10 minutes about how Microsoft needs to get off their butt, and they need to get off their butt and get more first-party games. But Sony is riding that sweet leopard print seat of just riding down the road with all this third-party support that's rolling in from the snowball effect from being on top for this long.
You know what, Colt? You really knocked it out of the park with everything you just said, and I'm going to just add to that. Here's the issue that I also have. You said it. Let's just say the number is 35 million. 35 million is a lot of consoles, and that's a lot of gamers that are willing to buy games that they can play on their system. Not many gamers like us. We're all diehard gamers. We all support the systems, the Switches, the PS4s, the Xbox. We all have them all. So we can play, but some people may only be able to afford an Xbox. It would be nice if someone at Microsoft who's responsible for going out and getting these games could go out and get these games.
Here's my thing, guys. You got to remember something. The part of what Colt said, though, and no one likes to hear this drum beat again, but the reason part of that 63 million is more powerful than you guys think, it's not necessarily the 63 versus the 35, okay? That's not really what it is. It's the media. The media is so up Sony's ass, okay? That's part of what you're talking about, Colt, because think about it. If me and you are this small little indie firm, if we go on PS4, guess what we get? We get left alone and good press. If we go Xbox only for some reason, or Xbox first, holy shit, our game will be put under a microscope. I mean, listen, I like Hellblade, and we talked about this last week, but we tap danced around it. Hellblade's not performing on the mighty PS4 Pro. It's not performing well, okay? And it's not able to hit high resolutions. But when this thing was first rumored, the Pro, you watch games like Red Gaming Tech and these other shows, they were like, 4.2! Holy shit, those are T-flops. I mean, they were going crazy. Everyone's lost their mind. And now it's like, don't worry about it. Listen, put the chair back a couple extra feet, put the pyro patch over one eye, and enjoy the game the way it was meant to be played.
900p is
and
acceptable.
I mean,
yes.
That's so what I'm saying to you is part of what Colt is talking about is he's 100% right. But I do want to bring everybody back to the other 800-pound gorilla in the room, and that is the media. The media has made it that Sony is the darling. The public thinks that way. It's got people. You go in the GameStop, people are like, you're like, hi, I was wondering if I could pick up Agents of Mayhem. PS4? No, asshole. The other one. What the fuck? I mean, why is it all of a sudden like, let me finish my sentence. You know what I mean? He's already got the blue. He's already, yes. Because they're like, I'm sorry, I got mine for PS4. It's so great. I know it's great. It's great. Everything's great.
Hey, well, didn't you hear?
That's like when I go to McDonald's and they automatically ask me if I want to supersize. I'm like,
it's supersized. Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear, though? Microsoft should sell off the Xbox division.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah. Isn't that a great thing to wake up to this morning? Like, okay, so they should sell off the Xbox division because they have no exclusive to show off the console. But I looked, and last year they didn't do an article like that.
Andrew House came out in 2015 and said that Sony's lineup will be sparse. I didn't see one article talk about Sony selling PS4.
This is the fourth straight holiday that they don't have a big AAA game for the holiday. Right?
Crap, with Crackdown 3 delayed, don't we still have more games this holiday than Sony?
Technically, yes. It
depends. Do. Like okay, but I'm talking if you talk AAA space, it's the same. We both have a racing game.
Right.
So, yeah, so that's the way I look at it anyway. Like, yeah, PUBG's great, but I got a feeling Microsoft ain't going to pony up the dough for that. Not only that, this shouldn't annoy me like it does, but it did annoy me that We Happy Few, very interesting vibe to it, was the darling of E3 a couple years ago. It's in the preview program. We're help shaping this game, right? They took the feedback. They're like, people said they didn't want such a quote unquote, like a scavenger hunt type thing, like a survival game. So they have different modes now. So we really help shape the game. And for what? For Gearbox to pick up the publishing rights for a song, and now it's going to be published on PS4 as well. So we beta tested it, fixed the game up, and now Sony gets it. So that's great. I mean, Microsoft could have probably paid a few million and kept it an exclusive. A very interesting. They don't have something like that in their portfolio. And by the way, this is going to be a full $60 release, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So they, and especially when you're lacking exclusive games, you know, that's something that you might want to do, like PUBG, right? If I'm Microsoft and Crackdown 3 is delayed, you know what my announcement is? Guess what? We just locked that shit up.
Yeah, lock it up.
We backed that Brinks truck up. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you do.
You know what's funny, though, is I wrote to Aaron Greenberg today because he tweeted out, you know, console exclusive. And I said, Aaron, this is a great opportunity for you guys to go beyond console exclusive and make it gaming exclusive for your machine.
Where's the crickets at? Because that's what you got.
Right,
back.
that was crickets. But meanwhile, if somebody takes a picture of their red and white Nike Airs on top of their red and white custom controller, he'll retweet it 1,000 times. I don't understand that. That's where people go, well, Mooch, give me an example of what you mean. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. I get down to brass taxes. We're actually talking about something that's business related. The reason you're 30 million consoles behind in sales, the reason that your games are delayed, this and that. What are the reasons for all this stuff? And they're like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just text me a picture of your favorite sneaker next to your favorite custom controller, and we'll make sure everyone sees it on Xbox Live. Next to you, Larry. And it's like, I don't understand why is it that nobody takes any of these things serious. And now you're starting to see these things, right? Doritos has got the Xbox One ad out now. Taco Bell, you're seeing the 4K monitor showing up. And I know everyone's like, oh, Mooch, they had that plan. They had that plan. Yeah, they had that plan that they waited 4 years to come out with this idea, right? From when they did it in 360.
Yeah.
Like, this is not there. This is because they're finding out that somebody over there is like, hey, why do you think that they keep saying anytime we all have a good idea, they're like, well, put it in the requested slot for our next UI. You know what it is, everybody? I want to tell everybody in the audience, congratulations, everybody. You are all Xbox employees. Every one of you listening to this show. You don't get a dime and you don't get a retweet. Okay? And that's the whole point. We are the ones providing the feedback. This is the We Heard You console. This is the We Heard You console. They said that, not me. Right?
You know, hold on.
So you're welcome, everybody.
You know, I got to jump in real quick because the PUBG thing, listen, you know what? I'm as Xbox as you can get. Okay, that I own everything, but it's my console of choice. I tweet 25 times a day regarding Xbox. And I have been saying this literally since the game was announced that it was going to come to the Xbox. I do not know for the life of me why, with all of the bad press that Microsoft has been getting right before the launch of a console, do you know what kind of a shot in the arm this would be for the entire community if somebody got up on that fucking stage and said, PUBG is now an Xbox and Windows exclusive permanently? The crowd would literally shit their pants.
Chuck Finley in the chat, by the way, just asked if he's going to be getting a W-2 statement for his work at Microsoft.
No, I'm sorry. You can get a Microsoft executive to take a selfie for you.
Yes,
enjoy that.
No, you make a good point. Boom, and boom. The problem is this. Okay, somebody in the chat was like, maybe PUBG's too much for Microsoft. No, it's not. No, it's an indie developer. There's way.
10 people running the studio. If I ran into there in my Armani suit that's hanging in the closet with a blank check, they would sign it.
There's a show called Shark Tank. Okay, it's on way too often. But the point is, I watched this one episode that was fantastic. This person was bleeding their heart out about their product. And they're like, I've been working on it for 12 years. I quit my job. This is now my full-time job. I've invested everything into it and this and that. And Mark Cuban turns around and he goes, what if I give you $30 million for it right now? He's like, sold. You know what I mean? So my point being is, okay, there was a half-hour show on this guy preaching his heart out about this invention he came up with. Mark Cuban goes, what if I gave you $30 million for it right now? He was like, you can have it, Mark. Okay, I mean, he went from this is like his life, blood, sweat, and tears to giving it up in 13 seconds. My point is PUBG, okay, you walk in there and you're like, listen, let's cut the shit. I need this more for recognition because for years to come, like Minecraft, people will always say, hey, what's on there? They'll go, well, Minecraft is on Xbox, and you also have this thing called PUBG, which is basically like Call of Duty, the original, but like massive MMO style, not MMO, but massive world, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, wow, that's kind of neat. It's a never put to rest game. It's always out there. Go ahead. I don't know.
Mr. Zombie Killer says Xbox worst lineup since 2012. 2012 wasn't that bad. We got Witcher 2, that was exclusive, Forza Horizon 1, and Halo 4. This year we get Forza 7 and fucking Halo Wars 2.
Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, whoop-de-fucking do. You know, let me dance around for that. I mean,
Colt, did you have something to say too earlier?
Games,
no, they're not. Crap, they're not. Colt, you were saying something too before Boom chimed in.
Yeah, you were just saying about how we all work for Microsoft. But
yes.
The thing about that is Microsoft's been giving us everything we've asked for on the console, other than the games this year, right?
That's true to a certain point, yes.
Yeah, we've been getting all these features. We've been getting everything that we've asked for due to this feedback program. They're listening to tweets. Mike Ibarra says he's watching the Twitter. He's taking feedback. And they're making all this cool stuff.
They're adding pins, Mooch, just so you know.
They are adding pins. I want to thank Mike and his crew for that. We are going back. We went from 18 to 30 to 18, and now we're going up to 40. So I do appreciate that.
Yeah, so they're listening.
Yeah, but Colt, you see,
disconnect though.
But Colt, there is a disconnect. It's a major disconnect. Because why is it I have to request pins twice? Why is it that I have to repeat? Or now there's another step involved going to friends.
I mean the disconnect with the games, like
well, yeah, that's another subject.
There's a couple news articles came out that I didn't want to do a video about because I didn't want to start crying myself to sleep. One thing was an insider to Microsoft reported that Microsoft is not ramping up any first-party acquisition funding within Xbox. So what we're seeing now is what they're doing, okay? And that's probably, that's probably true. That's probably a true thing. And so they've done a lot. And what we've seen is they did a lot extra for E3 this year, right?
Right.
And then the other thing was that there's this news coming around that's like a rumor that Microsoft hasn't been really making much money in the Xbox division. Have you guys heard that one? That they're not really making a big they're not really making a profit. They're just breaking even. And before they were making $20-30 every console, but now the division as a whole for Xbox is just like breaking even just to stay alive. Is that true? I mean, if that's true, they're not going to ramp up extra funding to get more first-party studios.
Well, here's the thing, though. They don't have – well, there's that slogan crap, which makes sense.
How the hell do you plan on selling your console if you don't have anything that appeals to people?
Oh, can I interject? Can I interject real quick? How about something called Minecraft? Why don't you take it off the other console and make Minecraft 2 exclusive to the Xbox One 2, the next one, the next generation?
I don't think you make a Minecraft 2. Minecraft is just something you just keep on cranking into.
Minecraft 2.2,
and you
whatever
can't just
you want to call it. That's
pull it off of people's consoles that own it.
Why do you? I don't understand why you keep saying that. That is not the case at all. It's what we said earlier. What they already said, according to your news crap, was that they threatened. They
threatened that they won't get the update. They're still going to be able to play the game.
Okay, you can play the base game. Congratulations. Yeah. You guys can all stay back in 2014. We're moving on over here with Xbox. And that's how you get people over. It's the only way. I had a really great conversation with someone that works with me in my office many, many years ago, and he's a PC guy. And his first words were, I don't get you with all these exclusives. Everything just needs to be on the same thing. It doesn't matter what box you play on. I said, then what box do I pick when I go in the store? How do I know what box? What's the difference? Do I play eeny, meeny, miny, mo? What the fuck do I do when I'm in there to decide? It's because of the exclusives. Everything has an exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, if you want a caddy, you got to buy a General Motors vehicle. You know what I mean? If you want Pepsi, you've got to go into, I believe, Burger King. You can't get it at McDonald's. It's Coke. It is what it is. People pick things, folks. I don't know why this is so hard to comprehend. Why is there only a Unity candle in gaming? Why is there only Kumbaya song before you turn your Xbox on? I don't understand this stuff. And that's the kind of stuff that you have to do, crap, is use the money already spent if what Colt is saying is true.
Well, no, here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, right? You have the one insider, which I think we talked about that, but he's a NeoGAF guy. He's not a true insider. He was
I understand.
Yeah, he like that, because we do know that we're working on something, because there's LinkedIn profiles that leaked out where they're hiring for Horizon Zero Dawn type games, and there's this and that. So there is probably stuff going on. And Phil did say they just signed deals for new games. My question would be, why would you sign those deals now when you have a roadmap as the head of Xbox that these games should be coming out here, and here? You knew you have a beast of a console coming out, and you don't have anything. Like, to me, they should have had something new to show off, like, and Crackdown. This has nothing to do with Crackdown or anything like that, but you should have had something that pushes the visual limits. Right. Like on your new console. I just, it's a shame that they didn't, with the money that they have, They really kind of prove like I think that they're okay in terms of the Xbox brand, but like there's nothing in there that really screams that they want to make games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's like they want to make the hardware, okay, but there's nothing really other than, if you notice, they closed off every.
Well, I'm okay if they want to go just hardware crap, but then you have to start signing third-party deals. They're not doing that either.
They were gonna
third parties aren't gonna
Lionhead open if they were gonna do this.
Say again,
well,
Clown?
no.
I'm saying if they were gonna go this way with first party and games, they should have just kept Lionhead open. At least they would have had something.
I don't think they could afford. I don't think they could have afforded to do that anymore. I mean, Lionhead was just sucking their money.
It just seems like to be honest, it just seems like they can't afford to do much anymore with first party exclusives. It just feels that way. Like the confidence feels kind of lost somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, there's nobody loving Gears of War 4 more than I am. I mean, honest to God, played it with a bunch of great folks last night, and played it again this morning. And listen, I love Gears, but Gears of War 4 they didn't reinvent the wheel. It's Gears, which, don't get me wrong, again, I'm not complaining of that. Like when I go to my favorite restaurant, the reason I like getting the veal parm there is because it's the same sauce, okay? They handle the meat the same way. Everything is the way I like it, so I don't really have a problem with that. But like that's what Clowns is talking about. Halo, they're very finicky with. Like nothing really crazy or different going on. Gears, it's the same thing over and over again. It's like, okay, fine, that's fine. But like, where's these creative things? And Crap makes a point. Phil takes the head 3 years ago. You got to start 2 or 3 groups working on something that's ready to launch like now. Not something you signed in July of 17. You're like, yeah, we're ready for 2020. Well, we're not. You know, we're ready now. And
they stumbled for a while, though. That's the problem. They stumbled in 2016 and part of 2015, and they were still recovering from falling over at the reveal for the Xbox. But so it seems like developers. I'm sorry. It seems like developers are embarrassed to put their game on Xbox. Like Mooch said earlier, that if they put their game on Xbox, they're going to get ridiculed. But they're almost embarrassed to. They're going to put it on PC and PS4, and they're like, "We'll just leave it at that because we put it on Xbox. That thing is that's just a magnet for embarrassment."
It really is. It draws
ridiculous
negativity immediately. Like I said, Hellblade is a great game. I encourage people to purchase it. It is a lot of fun. But and the price tag's right, it's $30. But
the multi-plat developer, though, it's
a multi-plat developer. It's not performing at what it's supposed to be performing at. It's got tons of problems, and nobody's talking about it. I think we just broke the news now. You know, I mean, nobody's talking about it because it's a Sony exclusive.
Isn't it true that eventually it's supposed to come to Xbox?
Yes, but by then, remember, this I call it Rise of the Tomb Raider syndrome, okay? Microsoft actually was onto something, folks. They bought the rights to Rise of the Tomb Raider for a year, which we saw was enough because when PlayStation got it, with all the DLC and everything added on, nobody bought it on PlayStation.
And there was no fanfare. Like, there was nothing like, finally, you never heard that.
Right.
It was so strange.
So when somebody gets a game first, Clowns, my point is, there's the victor. That is the victor. And that's the problem here is, yes, we are getting, like PUBG, we're getting PUBG first, but we're getting in-game preview. It means you're getting a half-broken game.
Yeah, and then it'll get all fixed up just in time for a release.
It'll be fixed perfectly in time for PlayStation.
Yeah. Well, it's working pretty good on PC. I mean, there's 7 million sold on Steam, so it must be fine.
It's not. Why would it be a game preview then? It's not 100%.
Because they're still working on it.
Right. I mean, but that's my point. You know what I mean? And we're gonna all pay $35-$40 for it, and they're gonna work on it. And like I said, the minute you're like, and ship shape, this game's ready to go. PS4 on Tuesday, and you're like, what? Like,
we beta tested it for them.
Yeah. We took care of it for you guys.
Just like We Happy Few. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
I gotta agree with you, Crab and Mooch, on that because it felt like We Happy Few should have been exclusive to Xbox, at least the way Xbox came out on stage at E3 and promoted the game.
Yes, I thought it was actually going to be exclusive.
You felt like it was ID at Xbox exclusive game preview. It was going to stay on Xbox, and now it's multiplat.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, guys, and I kind of want to address the panel and everyone that's out there listening. You know, we all realize that Microsoft has a PR problem. And I just want to pose this question to you, and I know the answer, but I want to hear from everyone. If the shoe was on the other foot, being in the gaming situation, first and second party that Microsoft is in. If it was our team that got Persona, Neo, Nier, Yakuza, Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5, and all of these games that are not signed with Sony, but just go to their platform, this would be a whole different conversation. So I really think that
it wouldn't be a different conversation for me because none of those games interest me. So, you know,
the narrative would be different. The narrative
would be different. So good for that. But as a gamer, that's like I own a PS4, but as a gamer, when everybody's naming off these games, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, well, the only games I really bought were baseball, Horizon Zero Dawn, which I regret, and well, I get the DLC but that's really something that I got last year.
Well,
I mean, other than that,
I understand that, you know, those games may not be for you, but they're definitely going to be for someone else that plays on Xbox. And if we had those 6 or 7 games, including sandwiched between a Halo Wars 2 and a Forza 7, along with Cuphead and a few other titles, this would be an entirely different conversation as to the Xbox is the box with no games.
Right, you would, and that's what I'm saying. The narrative would change, boom. But you know, the thing is, Craps makes a point. A lot of people that are Xbox guys don't necessarily play majority of those games, but the narrative would change because it would be equal right down the road right now. Yes, Sony would probably still have the lead in 2017 as far as a conversation piece, because even though me and Crap personally didn't care for Horizon, okay, I didn't care for Horizon at all. It's still a better game. I'd rather play Horizon than Halo Wars 2. You know, you know what I mean.
If Horizon Zero Dawn came to Xbox in the spring of 2017,
yes,
you know, if we had like 2 of those games that PlayStation got, would Xbox catch up to PlayStation?
No,
absolutely not.
Horizon Zero Dawn would have sold less than 1 million on Xbox.
Yeah, and Xbox just can't get out of this hole. It's like that dirt hole that the dirt just keeps sliding down the more you try to climb your way out, and that's just like how it is. And it's so ridiculous because I built this PC so I could do this PC gaming thing. So I'm looking at my Xbox and I'm like, this is a really good machine. I love playing this thing. It does everything I want. It has the games I want. I have this big library. I'm having fun. And then to go to my channel, look at my comment section, people like, Xbox has no games. Your stupid Xbox sucks. It's so stupid. I'm like, they're $250. Go buy one. I just don't understand people. The other issue is they're always like, we've got all these people are telling us that there's no way they're going to go throw away their PS4 and buy an Xbox One X. And I keep telling people, that's not what the Xbox One X is for. It's not to pull you off your preferred platform. It's not to pull you off your PC. It's for Xbox gamers to have all their friends online and have all their Xbox game library they've been playing for 15 years.
Well, you know, it's funny, Colt. I'm going to agree with you. You're right, but there's a little bit more to it. It is, in fact, a bit, not to pull people off PC. That would make no sense. But it is to get the casuals back that only went to PlayStation 4 because of the power-driven narrative. Correct. And now you're going to have the power-driven narrative on third-party games. No matter how much the media hates Microsoft, and trust me, they hate Microsoft, okay? No matter how much they do, when push comes to shove, whenever there's any kind of tech analysis, the X is going to perform better than the Pro. So point being is casuals will see that with time, and are they all going to influx over? No. But they're going to get some more people back than they lost just because of the power-driven narrative. That is what it is. This is what I've said for a while now. This is the new tactic in the game. Have the most powerful box and buy third-party games. Done. Over.
It's got to be deeper than that. You have to have tools that developers want to work on. And
yes, okay, an easy developed one, right, Don? Yes, absolutely.
But that's actually happening behind the scenes because a lot of the support you're seeing on PlayStation right now, not just being home team and Japan and all that sort of stuff with some of the games that were mentioned, but if you look at Hellblade started off on the PlayStation near launch. So like it just took those guys a really long time to make their game, and some of these
it's only 10 people.
Yeah, exactly. So what happened was the PlayStation had their tools, they had their shit together when it launched, right? So it was not only the messaging, but it was the messaging behind the scenes with the people that make the games. And we all know that the Xbox struggled to get what you're supposed to get out of the box first couple years. The repercussions of that is long. Yes. And we're seeing that change actually happen. So what you do to make a developer happy is you give them really powerful hardware and you get out of the way. And if you look at every single game that they are like keystone games, like we'll say things like Gears, and I'll even throw Recore in there. There's a reason why those games were chosen on very particular engines. Those engines all have been improved. So if you look at the Unity engine, it has all the bells and whistles for Xbox going forward, right?
Right.
You look at Gears, it has all the bells and whistles for what Xbox
That's
does going forward. So things are happening behind the scenes. They are, I don't know whose job that is or who's part of that strategy, right? I don't know if it's Shannon. I don't know if it's Phil. I don't know who that is, right?
Probably Ibarra.
That sounds like Mike Ibarra's job, yeah.
But there's a lot of that stuff happening behind the scenes, and that was something that Xbox, struggled with right out of the gate, and that's the reason why the mind share of the developer was, I'll get to it. That's what it was. Now it's not. I'll get to it. It is quicker to develop on that platform. It is more affordable for me to develop on that platform. I have more support with more engines, and I have more resources available. Right. So you're seeing the repercussions this year of what PlayStation's getting is directly related to where they were at near launch or right after launch, right?
Right.
Now we're going to start seeing, this stuff takes time. And I think a lot of times when people talk DX12, like they're expecting someone to flip a switch behind the scenes. And
yeah, DX12.
Everything magically happened. But we're seeing DX12 stuff happen now. We're seeing it happen last year, and more features are being implemented each year, right? So the upswell from a third party perspective is getting better. I think this is one of the reasons why, like, the people at Microsoft understand what's going on. Like, they get it, right? But they also understand what's in the pipeline, right? And us as consumers, we don't understand what's in the pipeline, what's going on, what's happening behind the scenes. So I look at Xbox in a totally different light. I look at it very, very positively. Do I look at this year as their best year? No, absolutely not, right? But me buying an X is not determined by Crackdown. It is
no, absolutely not.
It's
Don. Let me put some evidence to what you're saying, because I am buying what you're selling. Here's the thing, what Don's saying is now the X is that easier platform, and developers have taken notice. And the reason that I know he's kind of telling the truth here, and we should all know if we all saw E3, was we saw those 42 games that were on stage. A lot of those games are like the Nier Automata and the Nihos. Yep. Those are all those games that are now coming to Xbox. It said console exclusive, right? Or console launch exclusive. So I think that's what you're talking about, right, Don? You're saying now give it some time, but within the next year or two, now developers have shifted their attention to an easier, more powerful, more forgiving box in the X that makes it a lot easier for them to program to than the Pro.
Yeah, well, even guys like me, I don't do a lot of like high-level programming. That's not what I do. I do some assembly language, not assembly language, but just some basic like logic, and I create all the 3D assets and stuff like that, right? So, that's what I do on my end in regards to that, and it's so much more approachable just for what I do, right? Imagine someone that has even higher level of knowledge that's out there. Like, a lot of this stuff is not, I'm gonna say, automatic, but I don't have to jump through so many hoops to utilize the features that are on the box in regards to that. And I think it comes more down to they're also getting out of the way of getting developers dev kits. And then no one's really talking about this, but how many indie developers you're now starting to see talk about the X, right? They're talking it because they got development kits. The person that is in charge of all the indie stuff, he's trying to get all those barriers out of the way, all the political red tape that happens behind the scene at Xbox, right?
Absolutely.
In the past, and they're getting the hardware in the developers' hands, right? They may get hardware to certain developers that they may never see anything from. That's just money they spent. They gave it to some developer. That developer may close down, right?
Right.
But they're putting forth the effort, and they're doing that stuff behind the scenes. And this all sounds like damage control, but this is what's going on behind the scenes. You don't see people right now, from a developer standpoint, praising the PS4, how easy it is to develop for, what they can get out of the box. And it's not a knock on Pro. This is not a knock on the base model vanilla. What they got early on at launch is what they're getting now. So they're excited about what's new and what they're getting. So I keep thinking, like, Microsoft is trying to win over two categories. They can't win over media. Media's lost, right? You have to just kind of let that play out. But you can win over the gamer, and you can also win over the developer.
Right.
And that's their target audience. in regards to those two. If at
These
least
developers, though, let me tell you something about the developers. And Don, I know you are one, so listen, take this with a grain of salt. But I've never seen such a group of fair weather fans in my life. Like, I just don't understand. Listen, like, I'll give you another analogy, okay? One of my favorite places to eat, I drive past 4 of my other okay places, but I drive further because that one actually has the food that I like. What is with these devs with the least path to resistance? I understand we all do that as human beings. But I mean, so 3 years ago, you're right. 3 years ago, everybody that were developers were like, it's easier to program for. I prefer the PS4. It's easier, blah, blah. It's a bigger install. Now, all of a sudden, like you said, the dude in charge of ID at Xbox is getting all these dev kits out to everybody, and now they're all flip-flopping. The wind's blown the willow tree to the right. Now, oh, my God, I love the X. It's so easy. But I mean, these developers, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them.
The indies are saying that, but you look at the AAA, like, where's Bungie at? Where's the like anybody that doesn't look at the shadiness of some of the industry, let me open your mind a little bit, like blow your mind. Here we go. I'm going to tell you a tale.
Whoa.
Okay. Whoa, like totally, guys. Like, look, the fact that deals that Sony has signed for Call of Duty World War II and Destiny 2, and those developers haven't said a fucking peep about the One X should tell everybody everything they need to know about how the industry is. It's shady, back deals, back doors. It's a bunch of nonsense, and that's how it is. That's
you guys know how those checks clear, right? They pay something up front, and then when they finalize what they deliver, they'll pay another section of it, right? Kind of like when you contract work for, say, a house, right? It's the same way with those guys. So until their check clears from Intel and both Sony, they're not going to say a thing. At the end of the day, will they support? I don't know. Looks like they might be from what I'm hearing, but that's all water cooler talk, so I really can't really say it's definitive or not.
Right.
But when you have deals like that signed, typically you how that's set up is you pay first, like a deposit, right?
Right.
And eventually you pay when you deliver what they're telling you to deliver, then they pay off the rest. So if you're waiting for a major check from Sony, and just put yourself in Bungie's shoes for a sec, right? If you're waiting for a major half of your check from Sony, your partnership with Activision, and the fact that you're trying to squeeze that game out on time and you may be losing your company, and you have a check trying to clear from Intel because they actually have a partnership with Intel this time around because of the PC side of things, would you just kind of focus on what you need to get done, try to get it out the door, and then maybe address the other stuff later when the X is hot? I mean, that's what you would probably do, right?
I mean, they might, but at the same time, it just seems shady that those companies that have deals specifically, because there's other games that are like, yeah, we're going to do it, but then those are two of Sony's biggest, and they suddenly, well, we're not talking about that. I think that's a little bit of a bad situation. Hey, we got over 500 watching. Hit the like button, you lazy.
Yeah, if you guys can hit that like button, we'd really appreciate it. No, but it's funny you do say that crap. I like the way you kind of put that out there. And I mean, it is on Bungie to be one. I understand that, money talks. Believe me, nobody gets that more. I understand that. But it is the shadiest industry because here's where everybody, the minute somebody comes out on Twitter and says something, you got some people that are like, did you just say something like that? How could you tweet something like that? Developers are so kumbaya. Let's all stand up. But then at the same time, then you're like, hey, Bungie, listen. Hey, what's up? Remember us? Yeah, I just bought the $100 version of Destiny 2. Are we going to get the 4K? Oh, no comment on the time. No kumbaya today. Carry on, Mooch. And I'm like, what the fuck just that? What happened? Like, why is it that this is going on? But like at the same time, everything's supposed to be kumbaya and everything's so great. Like, right, games are games are games. That's not the truth. So, like, ultimately, this is my problem with the developers is everybody's like kind of two-faced. You know what I mean? In the big world, it's like they say one thing, but they act the other way. And do I blame them for the money? No, I don't blame them. But then don't come out and tweet like you're Mother Teresa. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, they said this 3 years ago. Oh, PlayStation 4 is just easier to develop for. That's my console of choice. This is where we're going. It's just more easy. Microsoft's more confusing. Now, all of a sudden, you're right. Don's right. It's a complete flip-flop. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, it's almost 24 hours later.
But, Mooch, how many of these devs are going to say that, get the dev kits, put their game in game preview, work out the bugs, and then go, oh, we're going multiplied anyway?
Well, that's where Microsoft leadership's got to say, no, 6 to 12 months, ink it right there. Ink it.
Well, I mean, yeah, you look at the Project Cars 2 developer. They're a prime example. They came right out and said the Xbox One X is going to run significantly better than the Pro. Why aren't the other big AAA devs saying this? And it's because of contracts. That's why.
They're also scared with the install base.
What does significantly better mean? I mean, think about how massive of a statement. That's a massive statement, guys, because we know that they already said 60 FPS or die. That was their latest quote.
Yes.
So they said that the game will run 60 FPS on PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox, and Xbox One X. So where's the significant difference?
Right.
It's going to be in resolution, and then resolution doesn't matter when you look at it's really going to be about effects, lighting, shadows, all of that other stuff that's going to make the game look better than just the pixels. That's a big statement.
Right.
And when Digital Foundry gets their greasy little meat hands on that Project Cars 2 footage, there is going to be so much salt licking going on from PS4 Pro owners. Because that kind of stuff, when Digital Foundry dissects those multiplats, and they are so used to the past 3 years hearing how their version was better, how it was 1080p instead of 900p, and how it had 3 more frames per second, man, it's going to be a totally different ballgame.
Yeah, I just hope
that you're right and they are truthful about this, because Digital Foundry, they are the biggest Sony suck asses this side of Texas.
Oh no, I don't think so. I think they're going to love to dive into that stuff and dissect it and see all the differences and point out how smart they are, that they can pick out what that game is doing on the X, and we're going to hear about it.
Well, no, Colt, what you said is correct, but what Boom said is also correct, and let me tell you why. What they're going to do is exactly what you said. Get their meaty paws all over it. They're going to be bragging about how they can show you how much better this game is, but then they're going to remind you that it's okay to have a PS4 Pro, because what they're not providing on Pro, it's still okay, and you're going to be just fine. And the narrative's changed. Everything they've already started it. Crap. How many videos have you done where you've shown it? They've already moved the goalpost 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, this is true. Like if you look at how it was such a big deal for 900p to 1080p. Early on in the gen, how they attacked a game like Sunset or they attacked Sunset Overdrive too for being 900p 30 frames per second. They attacked Quantum Break for using the checkerboarding that they did on that. Now they love it. And if you look at them when they did the Destiny 2 beta, the analysis,
they
didn't make a big deal at all out of the 900p Xbox One version.
They didn't even make a big deal out of the whole Hellblade. They did a PS4 Pro versus PC Hellblade comparison, where they like Colt said, they were very, very critical on the fact of the technology side. They told you exactly what it was putting out, what it wasn't. But they're like, but ultimately, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. So at the end of the day, Colt, there's not many people that really read the lines like you and Dealer do. Most people are just waiting for, do I buy it or do I not? I mean, you see all these things. Go ahead.
The worst part about it is Crap Gamer was Crap. You're the first one who talked about moving the goalposts. You're the first one I heard about that a lot. It's not just it's not just Sony guys moving the goalposts back for them, but they're moving the Xbox goalposts forward. So instead of running on a 120-yard football field, it's now like a 180-yard football field.
Yes.
Yeah. And we've got this the Xbox has to get into this 2-inch end zone. And Sony's got this big 30-yard end zone they get to work with. It's freaking ridiculous. And even the PC guys are coming in and moving the Xbox goalposts out and saying, it ain't going to run 4K 60 Ultra.
See, that makes absolutely no sense, because PC and consoles have actually a true symbiotic relationship. What's good for one actually helps the other, and vice versa.
Right.
So, PC is my tool. That's what my game is developed on, is a PC. It is what it is, right? And then I basically take my assets and I optimize them so I can fit them on whatever corresponding console I'm going to put it on, right? And they need that. PC needs more powerful consoles for the standard on PC to be raised, right? So they all complement each other. There should never be a butting of heads there at all. It's not a kumbaya thing. They need one another. They absolutely need one another. And people just don't understand that. So what? Xbox guys get a more powerful piece of hardware for $500. They can do some of the features that you guys have been bragging about. they can now start relating to you a little bit, right? Like what you've been talking about. Like we can be on the same page for a little bit. And guess what? You probably if you have that powerful of a PC already, it's probably time for you to upgrade, 5 or 6 years of owning that PC. And get something else you can brag about that's even more powerful. Like it all helps one another. Like I think that's one of the reasons why Microsoft isn't, they have a different view versus us console gamers, is because they understand that, like, even if it's just a little bit of support or a little bit here or a little bit there, it helps both different departments. It subsidizes their development costs. It does all these different things that, like, we don't understand as console gamers. And so, like, it's absolutely important in regards to that. But, like, let's I'm going to go back to, like, if you look at Crap Gamer and you look at Mooch, right? They were really hard back in 2015 on PlayStation for not having any games. They are now just as hard, and that's the difference between, I would say, this fan base versus the other, right?
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Good point, Don.
Because this fan base,
we were, and we're just as hard now. So
yeah, this fan base, they're not trying to flip flop. Sometimes people try to paint that, and sometimes we bring up other additional points that maybe they in their view they may think that, but the reality is we try to look on for the most part, most Xbox guys, and not all of them, right? Because there's always some people go rogue, right? We try to look at things equally between both different platforms.
They go rogue, yo.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Like people are all upset this year, and I just don't. I understand why, but the same token, like, it's not like we're not getting shit.
Right.
Oh, I got so many fucking games. I can't even stand it. Like, honestly, like the Crackdown 3 thing, literally, I was excited for that. But then I was thinking, like, okay, well, Call of Duty, okay, that's pre-ordered. I got Destiny pre-ordered.
Right.
Assassin's Creed Origins. Battlefront 2 is a must. Madden, I have that. This Uncharted DLC, you know what I mean? Like, all this shit. Like, I already don't have enough games, so let them fix the game. Get it right.
Fine.
I get that. Like,
the delay
I'm not
wasn't
mad
the
about
issue.
that. I'm not really mad about the delay.
It's more the structure crap.
Yeah.
We're not seeing structure.
It's a duct tape. It's like they might as well change it to budget soft Xbox, because it seems like they're doing everything on a Ouya budget.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about that for a second, Crap, because trying to turn this thing into a positive, they said, hey, don't forget, tune in to Gamescom. And for all your pre-orders, we have a surprise. And now, Crap, I think I missed the video where you were like, I think you were implying you were happy with the surprise. Well, I personally was let down. I mean,
look, it depends on, like, wow,
what is that?
How depressed do you want me to be, right? Look,
well, no, it's not about depressed. It's about, listen, I got news for you. I don't know, like, if somebody did something wrong and then they're like, they come up, they say they're sorry, and then they fucking kick you in the shin.
Well,
that's not, you can't be like, well, all right, never mind.
They had planned well in advance before the whole Crackdown thing, right? They thought it'd be a nice little thing, have Project Scorpio. Everybody really liked the Project Scorpio thing. So having that engraved.
Somebody on Twitter said it. They were like, oh, great, the surprise is a tramp stamp of Project Scorpio on my controller. Listen.
No, it's on the controller, it's on the console, and you also get a vertical stand.
Where is it on the console? I didn't see it on the console. I only saw it on the controller.
Right on the front.
I don't even want that.
Actually, I think it's going to look ugly, to be honest with you.
Who the fuck wants that on the front? Oh my god, you got Project Scorpio? Is that what it's called? No. I have to tell everybody the story for 3 years?
Project Scorpio Day 1 edition, dude. People are gonna fly. This thing's gonna sell out like hotcakes, guaranteed.
That's great. Thanks for the surprise. Everybody was doing speculation videos for the past 3 days after Albert Pinello came out and said, people were like, maybe they'll throw in a game. Maybe it'll be a game of your choice. Maybe it'll be an Xbox hoodie. No, it's a sticker of a name of something they ditched.
Well, it's engraved.
I don't know. Listen, it is what it is. Whatever. I personally don't think of that as
a... Look, they're not going to do anything like people that are like, maybe they'll make it up to us by announcing something big. I got news for you. Major Nelson ain't going to be there. Phil Spencer ain't going to be there.
Right.
There's not going to be anything that's going to be like,
well, listen, you could say we're throwing a game in. You don't have to fly the president of Xbox over to announce that. Or, there's 85 games coming out this holiday. Third party, pick one with your console, with an X purchase. I don't know, like something like that. To be honest with you,
Hey, people love stickers and shit. Just ask Sony fans.
They like stickers of Darth Vader, not stickers of names that aren't in existence anymore.
Project
Just
Scorpio.
when I was getting used to calling it Xbox One X.
Yeah, now it's gonna say Scorpio across the front. That's terrible. I listen, crap. You can say whatever you want. I'm not. This isn't rain on the parade. I'm just telling you.
You rain on the parade again.
I am. I'm raining.
God damn it, dude. Look,
new Mooch umbrellas going up for sale.
To me, it looks nice. I don't know. You know, like maybe not to everybody, but when they sent this to me today, like it's just like this little green little project.
I only saw it on the controller, and the reason I stopped looking was because see here, Jamie tweeted it out. I thought on the controller it was okay. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought it was irrelevant.
Hold on, Mooch.
On the top left.
Mooch, I'm gonna buy you one of those. How about that?
What are you gonna buy? You're gonna buy me a.
Now do you like it?
No, I love it.
I'm such a flip flopper.
Such a flip flopper. No, you know, listen, I don't know. Look, a lot of us, I didn't look into it. I didn't even get heavily involved in a lot of the conversations when it came to what do you think the surprise is. I knew it was going to be something equivalent to an Xbox scratch and sniff. You know, I knew it wasn't going to be anything more than like a McDonald's toy and a Happy Meal. Look, this is just dumb. And you're trying to brand something as the Xbox One X, and now you're going to put Project Scorpio across the front of it. You know,
here's the thing, but only the first initial adopters, the hardcore people that were disappointed that it wasn't Xbox Scorpio, they're the ones that are going to love this thing.
And like, Johnny and Jimmy and Jane standing behind me just happened to get in one that doesn't know what the fuck. Why does mine have this other name on it?
I don't know.
It's stupid.
Who knows? Like their sales might bump up that month from 90,000 to 125,000,
or to 90,500. You know, listen, I don't know. It's not really.
I mean, you got two things, man. Like how long? The real question is how long before the Switch starts beating the Xbox One in sales, because that thing is on fire.
Well, you know what?
That has no
Switch
games,
Switch is gonna have a problem, and crap. If you want MPD to go your way for Xbox, you can't thank anybody other than Apple, because Apple actually is going to be, now that their iPhone 8 using very similar technology or glass that they're using on the Switch, is putting Nintendo in big like some sort of manufacturing delay.
So they have.
You know, I just want to reiterate on the surprise thing. You see, you know, one of the tagline, one of the things that they keep talking about, and I'm a little frustrated with this as well, is that your older games, they're gonna look magnificent on the X.
There it is.
Right? Okay. Yeah. So here's the.
I just saw the console. Sorry, boom. Jamie tweeted it. Thank you, James, for tweeting that out.
That looks nice.
Yeah, it looks great. Listen, guys, if you guys are going to listen, if anybody wants to open a restaurant, go to a restaurant that recently closed, put about, I don't know, $150,000 into renovating it, and then name it after the one that just closed. Go ahead, Boom. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. Listen, when I hear surprise and they keep touting that it's going to play your older games, great. Gears of War is going to look amazing. Let me tell you what they could have done. They could have given you a choice of 3 games. They could have said, okay, you buy the Xbox One X on day one, you either get Halo 5 Enhanced, Gears of War 4 Enhanced, or Forza 6 Enhanced. Yeah. And it wouldn't have cost them a freaking dime, and it would have been that you know, handing out, you know, putting the hand when you're falling someone point. They could have done that.
That's another example, crap, what Boom just said, of what I said on Xbox Nation when you were like, how are they supposed to do that if they don't want to spend money? And I used examples like Havoc Engine, and I used examples like Minecraft. What he's saying is this is money that Microsoft's already spent. Yep. This is a way to give out something for quote-unquote free that would have gotten more people to buy the box. Nobody, and I'm talking about nobody besides maybe 8 people I know that podcast, want a Project Scorpio engraved Xbox One X.
I want it. I think
you're
awesome.
one of the 8.
I still have my day one stuff too, and 2 day one controllers.
Colt, are you excited for your Project Scorpio engraved Xbox One X?
I already have to buy one for you, so no.
Great answer. Great answer. You know, I don't know. Look, guys, like I said, it's not this. If this is just a regular, you know, Friday Crossfire, not your typical like going into Gamescom weekend. Like I would say this on any event. This isn't just because it's today's show. I personally thought we would get something that would make people run to get the box. You know what you're doing right now, Crap? You know what that project? You said it actually. Crap said it best. Crap said it best. The Project Scorpio engraved console is for the hardcore. Guess what? This just in, Microsoft. The hardcore were already buying it. So
Hey,
what
it's a
do
little
you do?
something.
Why?
It's a little something to make people feel a little bit special, I guess. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
a free
that's all
game
it is,
makes me
man.
feel more special, though.
I
Crap.
feel more
gotta be
special with a
honest.
free game. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you got all the games.
No, I know, but you know what?
You're
Here's
reheating the steak. You're not getting the turkey dinner.
No, crap. You're 100% right. But here's the thing:
You're reheating the steak.
if you're a PlayStation 4 Pro owner, and you're looking at, well, wait a second, that Microsoft box, man, that's going to be powerful. And wow, all the Call of Duties. You know what? What if you're one of the people who only have one system? You're like, I want to now rock multi-systems. That person coming in, you're giving them Gears of War 4, right? Listen now, hear me out, please. They get Gears of War 4, they bring it home. They're playing on their new Xbox One X. Now they're PlayStation people. Now they're playing. They're like, wow, this is freaking great. Let me go to the Xbox store and say, well, Halo 5 enhanced. Oh, I'm going to buy that. This generates sales. Giving a little generates sales in the end.
Right. I mean, listen, everybody in the chat, listen, let's just get a consensus because I always like the audience. You know, the reason I do the show is for the audience. It's not for anybody else. I mean, just do me a favor. Just type in Scorpio if it's something that you guys are really excited for because you guys are the hardcore that are listening. There's nobody in this chat that's a casual gamer. You know, if you want, just type in Scorpio so I know that that's something that you want to see. And I know a lot of you guys are going to, you know, some of you will type it. I don't think a lot of you will. But I'm sure I would like to see.
You're talking about Mooch though, that the anti-fucking he doesn't want custom shit on his console.
I don't like custom shit.
Everybody, look, they all want Scorpio.
There was 6 people. Crap, take it easy,
dude. And look, it's fucking going insane.
We're up to 13.
Scorpio.
Hold on,
and everybody fucking.
17.
I told you, dude.
It's okay. This is the hardcore. Hey guys, everybody that's running Scorpio, I assume you're buying it day one. So I guess Microsoft has already counted your money. Like that's fine. They got us all. That's fine. But my point is, I don't know. I myself personally I don't like custom consoles because I don't need to have a wacky looking Xbox under my.
It's not wacky. It's just like a little subtle.
No, I saw it. Yeah, but that's even worse. Now I need a magnifying glass to hang off the X so I can read it.
I just think that somewhere the word surprise has been lost in translation at Microsoft. I'm just saying, you know.
Hey, their surprise is like when your parents used to surprise you with a trip to the dentist. So.
Oh my god, that's good.
Surprise! No. You know, I mean,
get a lollipop afterwards. It's all good.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
No,
yeah,
I'm totally with Mooch on this. I don't like stuff drawn on my console either, and I'm not just agreeing with Mooch just because I'm on his podcast. Like, I literally don't like stuff. So I'm hoping, this is just me, I'm hoping at launch that I can just buy the plain one. I just want to buy the plain one in regards to that. Otherwise, me and Mooch are going to be sitting with a quarter trying to scratch off the fucking Scorpio off the front
Nobody's going to scratch that off. Which has the fucking Gears 4 Xbox One S.
Yeah, no kidding. And I have a doily hanging over it. Listen, here's the problem. It's dumb. It is. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I want the box. I want the box to be strong. Put a game in the box, guys.
Yeah, or even
put a game in the box.
Or even a code for a future game that hasn't been released yet. You know, that would be first party or something.
Again, if Microsoft is looking to save money and they don't want to give a physical disc away, a code for either of the 3 games I mentioned would have been a big deal.
Right.
Just go Xbox Game Pass. Like go a little generous on that. Like
give 6 months of Xbox Game Pass. Yes, that's great, Don.
They're giving you 1 month.
Yeah, well, I would say no. Like seriously, like give them till make them fall in love with it. That they're like, crap, I have to have that now, right? Like give them like a 3-month period. They get to try out a lot of the exclusive games. They get to try a lot of the Xbox One enhanced games.
Hey, Rand asked, hey, what if that version launched a week before? Would you want it more then? Wink, wink.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
I'm getting something for it. I'm getting it a week early. I don't care what it says on it.
It could be day one thing, just like that they do with the games where you get those like 4 or 5 days early or whatever.
That's fine. If it's that, Rand, I'm all in. I'm all in. If it's buy this one, heck, I'd even pay $20 more to get it a week early. As a matter of fact, I pay $50 to get it a month early. You know, I mean, like here's the thing, guys. You guys are missing my point. Everyone kind of misses my point in the chat. And everyone's like, "Oh, Mooch, I love you, but I gotta have that little engraved thing on the left-hand side next to the eject button." Okay, great. That's fine. But my thing is this. what are we talking about here? Are we just here to talk about what our likes and dislikes are as far as the rainbow of colors? No, we're here to talk about how does Microsoft's Xbox One X get better, get in more homes, get to more attention. It's not with a surprise with a Project Scorpio engraved. It's putting there or a service or EA Access in the box.
They are. Yeah. They do have that in the box.
So you're getting EA Access with your X?
No, you're getting Game Pass in the box
for 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay. I want everyone in the chat and everyone listening to email me, and I will be selling those green stickers for $3 a piece. Mooch and I are going to make them, and we're going to skim a little off the top.
I don't think they're stickers. I think that's engraved on there.
Hey, don't tell them that. They're trying to sell some stickers.
Oh, okay.
It's
engraved. Some up. It's not Redbubble. Like, look, it's a big old sticker.
And Born to Tease, listen, shout out to you, buddy. You're a great person. You're always in the chat. But he's like, Mooch, it's for the fans. Okay. But what are we talking about? Again, it depends on where if you're talking about the fans, then right. Everything was done just, and we can button up and move on to the next subject. Problem I'm trying to say is when I saw Surprise, and let me tell you something. I've been on a couple podcasts. I listened to a few others. Nobody was like, you know what? Engrave the name that it isn't on the side. I would love that. Everybody was talking about free game, free membership, free live, blah, blah, blah. Something in there. Not this. I feel like Trinity in the Matrix. Not like this. Not like this. Okay? It's just not the way I wanted it to go down. If you wanted to give that as an option, that's fine. But don't even claim it's a surprise. Just let me open it and find out it was an oops. It's not that big of a deal, folks. It's really not. I would have liked to see Microsoft expand more people that were on the fence. There's a lot of people on these polls. Tim Dogg's done a bunch of polls. Are you going to pre-order it? You getting it day one, or are you going to wait? There was still a good 20% of people said they're going to wait. And what I'm saying is that the 20% of people
follow him, though. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that. I mean, that's it. Look, that has to be one of two things. Either Xbox is fucked, and nobody's going to buy the X, and nobody wants the S because that thing sounds like a fucking hot garbage, or people are legitimately waiting for the X, and everybody's going to rush out and buy one. Right now, I'm leaning towards the latter. I think that this thing's going to sell out. You're going to see as soon as they open up pre-orders that date, it's going to sell out everywhere.
Yeah, but crap, do you think they're going to do like a Nintendo stunt where they make limited?
It's not a stunt. I think that this is the thing. Microsoft did this, and it wasn't a stunt then either with the Elite controller. You start saying this is for the hardcore, this is for this is for that. It's a premium thing,
right?
And they talked themselves into that, not realizing that there was going to be such a demand for it. It took me a year to find a controller.
Right.
Because they underproduced it. Phil Spencer, and I've heard this from multiple people, didn't think that the Elite controller would sell.
Right.
So they didn't authorize that many.
That's part of what we talked about earlier in the show. It's just like
so how many times? Brand. Yeah, and so what? Phil Spencer maybe doesn't think the X is going to sell that well. So maybe instead of like not by like some fiendish plot to sell more, but by underestimating it. Well, Nintendo is legitimately facing a shortage. So I mean, they're about to really face a shortage here. Yeah, like I might even put mine up for sale for $700 or something.
I hope people make little videos come after November 7th that go like this in their living room. Hey, I thought you bought the new X.
Not a stunt by Nintendo. Their chip is like Mooch just said, Apple is using the same one.
Tech,
so it's severely being undermade right now. So it's actually they are facing a shortage.
You guys can you guys just see this situation in your living room? Crap's gonna say no, but I want to see called you've got more of that kind of like group of people when I watch your video.
Spencer hasn't blocked me on Twitter, bro. I've had some pretty good conversations.
No, Phil doesn't block any of us, but thanks for asking.
Yeah.
No, what I was gonna say to you was like, hey, I thought you were gonna get that X. I did, it's right there. No, that's not the X, it's the Project Scorpio. No. That was like they etched that in there, but it's actually the X. Why do they call it the Project Scorpio? I don't know. It's because it meant a lot to us earlier. Who's us? It's like who's on first?
Who cares? I mean, like if you're in the know, you're in the know. If not, then who cares? Like as far as I'm concerned.
Who has company over and shows off their console?
Yeah,
it's sitting in the front of my fucking.
Nobody's gonna get up there and go,
LG OLED.
Nobody's gonna go up there and go, oh, what's a Project Scorpio edition? You know what I mean? Like nobody cares.
It's actually pretty small.
Oh, we got Dobson here. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like nobody cares.
Do you guys ever
wait, crap just did it. Thank you. Crap, you did it. I feel like I just was Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men when you finally said the code red. My point is, no one cares.
Well, no, people.
You said it. You just said it. No one cares. You just said it. Yes.
The random people that you're bringing over to your house don't care.
Yes.
But the actual fans, they care.
You wanted the code red. You said it. You wanted Santiago. That was you. Okay. Thank you. I did it. I got my own.
It's
code
gonna
red.
be. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. That's the option. You know, it's like it's probably gonna be an optional thing. If you don't want the one that's probably going to be worth more money down the road, then that's you.
Well, I want to put it out there.
We have to go in regards.
Sure. Hey, Mooch, let me tell you something. Custom consoles are worth way more money than non-custom consoles, right?
I'm not selling mine.
I'm just saying. Like,
Crap, we need to get back on. Crap, we need to get back on track because you're on a good little roll there when you're talking about. They may not be ready. They not to keep up with demand for the Xbox X. And
that's what I'm saying. This is what's going to happen, right? They're going to have a certain amount since they're doing a worldwide launch. It's even less, because you're trying to stretch that worldwide. They underestimate demand that people want, and they're starting so late with pre-orders that they're not going to have a real good idea. If they would have started them earlier, you would have had much more of a better idea how many you needed. So now I think they're going to sell out almost immediately, within that day.
You know what happens? This is what I wanted to add to what you're saying, Crap. And I know that a lot of you guys probably do this too. When something is out of stock, when it's hard to get, don't you get like a little bit anxious to buy one if you were unsure? Like, it's so funny. Like today, I wanted to buy some Eclipse glasses for Monday. Because where I live, we'll get to see a little bit of the eclipse, right? So I can't find them; they're out of stock, and all.
We have like 4 of them. You can borrow one of ours.
So let me rewind back. When the Kinect came out for the 360, I wasn't sure if I wanted one, and so I went to the store to see what they looked like, or whatever, and they were out of stock. So I started calling around. After about 2 phone calls of calling stores, and they said no, we don't have them. All of a sudden, man, I really want that Kinect. I got to get that Kinect. Man, everybody's got one. I can't get one, man. They're out of stock. I really want to Kinect. And that's what's going to happen if the Xbox One X has a problem and they're not in stores. I mean, they're not going to sell out where you won't see them, but if they become the least bit rare, like the Switch is, it's going to generate buzz from all kinds of people.
It's supply and demand.
People change their mind and want to get one, and it happens all the time.
It's true. So now, what I want to know from the panel and everybody listening, what do you think realistically is the number that they could potentially do within the first week that it launches worldwide? Are we talking 3 million, 4 million, 5 million?
I think 3 million's within range.
If they have enough, for sure.
If they, I mean, not discussing stock. Yes, 3. Yeah. I would say 3 in 7 to 10 days.
Well, I mean, even if you look at what Sony did with the PS4 Pro, that had limited stock. Like, you can't just go into a store even now and find a Pro at some stores.
Right.
They don't keep it stacked. They don't keep those things stacked out there like that. I would hope that the Xbox One X is just really going to have a big sales boom, because if you can make a dent of between 3 and 5 million at a launch of this console in the sales gap and get that popularity and that hype and stuff like that,
that's going to happen.
You do it.
I mean, I really think it's going to boom. It's really going to boom come November 7th. I really, really do believe that. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, Crap's been saying this for days, and especially in a lot of his videos, that he really believes people are waiting, and I absolutely agree with him.
They have to be waiting. There is no reason to I mean, look, you can get an S for $200 right now with 4 games.
4 games,
yeah, and 2 controllers and and Phil Spencer doing a jig for you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Like, if people really wanted to get an Xbox to play those games, you could get one, and it's fine. Like, the S is a great console. Fucking at the end of the day, I think people are waiting. There was that thing where the Blu-ray makers said that they in fact expect the anticipation of the X is keeping people from buying games right now as well as the consoles. So we'll have to see how it goes, man. I'm expecting big things. So
yeah, no, I it's going to do very, very well. There's no question about that. I really do think that it's going to explode. And the Crackdown 3 delay has nothing to impact. It doesn't impact it's the first thing I said when we went on the air on Wednesday. It does not impact at all.
No, the only people it impacted really were the people that are disappointed, like me, like Colt, that were really looking forward to buying it, or the haters that were hating on the game for months, and now they're going to use that as some reason to say Xbox is dead.
Right,
Well,
right.
You know,
Well, they have nothing to talk about because it's over with. It's next year, right?
I mean, it's done. It's next year. Let's hope that you know.
Well, let's
again,
get into
just going
games.
back to my original problem with that, which I forgot to mention earlier. Crackdown is one of your main IPs, supposedly. So maybe it would have been a good idea to have studio you own working on it instead of 3 outside sources. Just saying.
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
So on a side note, like let's look at realistic numbers, right? So if you look at the S is a brand new SKU for Microsoft. How many did they sell at launch? You guys know?
I don't know.
No, we do know. When they first came out, it was like 3 million.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it was. It was
so
3 million.
I would say that's a realistic number to look at in comparing it to the X, right? Because that is right. You know, that 3 or 4 year mark is when people start looking for something else on the other opposing platform. People on the existing platform are looking to try to keep those people interested in that platform, right? And realistically, it is a new SKU, so that gives them an idea how much they're willing to build, right? From the standpoint of taking a risk on a SKU they don't know how well it will sell. I would say 2 to 3 million is within the ballpark. If you look at it from that perspective.
I think it's totally within range. I really do. I don't see why it wouldn't be. A lot of people are waiting. You're going to get a lot. There's a lot of people that are going to come over from PS4. And Colt made a good point. They're not going to leave their friends that are all on PS4, but they're going to buy this for the multiplats. They're going to.
Yeah, and think about all the Xbox owners who really need that upgrade. The X is really an upgrade, and there's a lot of people that passed on the Pro because the PS4 standard machine was doing awesome. Right. It was running every game at standard 1080p, and it was keeping its 30 frames, has its 60 frames titles. You know, it was doing great. But the Xbox was having its little issues when they were nitpicking. And so I think, you know, if you've got 35 million Xbox owners, there's a large chunk of them who say, man, I want this upgrade.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen day one, but 10 million, I would say, of the 35 would want to, because not only that, Colt, but it's been 3 years of getting bashed.
Yes,
if
exactly.
Xbox is your favorite, right? If Xbox is your favorite brand, you've been getting shit on for 3 years by the media.
Yeah, that's why I said I did a video saying Xbox gamers deserve the X upgrade. And people are like, deserve? What the crap you mean, Colt? What do you deserve? They don't deserve nothing. And I'm like, they deserve it because they've been putting up with media bias, bashing, ridiculous nitpicking, and fanboyism against their console. Like we always say, fanboys don't love their console. They love to hate your console.
Yeah, right? Well said, Colt.
And that is just how it's been. And I just think that with the ratio, 1 out of every 5 PS4 owner upgraded to a Pro. I think that ratio may be somewhere like every 2 to 5, maybe 3 to 5. What do you guys think? I'm just speculating.
I think the Xbox customer is a higher end customer overall. Like they're willing to spend the money, they're willing to buy more games per unit, that sort of thing. There's enough statistics and there's enough evidence that that's really the case. The other thing I would say is don't underestimate, like when someone says like they won't leave their main platform, think about that for a sec. You have an X, right? And you have your buddies you play with, say Destiny, right? On the PlayStation 4. And it slowly becomes more and more of your friends have an X, and then when you go to buy that next game, you ask yourself, shoot, it's a multiplayer only game. Now my friends and we all kind of want to play on the X, not because we're fans of one platform or another, just because we want the better graphics. We spent the money. That has pull. That has a lot more pull.
A lot of pull.
That people realize. So,
and you know what? That was relevant before this generation, Don. It was just that it actually became front and center this generation with the media.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm always looking at these trends and how they're going to swing and stuff like that because, you know, hopefully in another 3 years from now, my game will be released and I have to hit that moving target where the audience is, and the audience is going to be in power at the end of the day.
We'll see you on the X.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's where I'm probably going to. Well, it depends of what the competition will do. We'll see. Like I'm trying to be neutral as possible, but
be anything but neutral. But go ahead, please.
Well, I'm transparent. I like Xbox, but I don't. I don't try to hate other consoles. But that being said, like that's where the trend's always going to sway going forward. I think that's pretty obvious at this point. Like regardless of where someone wants to move a goalpost, it's going to be in power. So if PlayStation wins the Power Award, say next release, it's going to sway back that way, and vice versa. So, like, literally, who has the most powerful console, that matters more front and center now than it ever has.
And I think you're 100% right, and I think that'll transpire into blooming sales for Xbox come this fall. Let me move this conversation. We've been talking for an hour and a half on that. I do want to talk a little bit about games. There's Agents of Mayhem that I wanted to go over because I know Crap and Colt are playing the shit out of it.
Yeah,
great game.
Absolutely fantastic.
They have got me, and boom, that's right. You're 18 hours into it. I really want to kind of. I think I might pick this up this weekend.
Well, you know what was funny was I bought it, and then when I was playing it, I had like so many people message me on Xbox Live. How is it, Crap? So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go ahead and I had played it already for like 11 hours. I was like, I'll do an early review. It's called a review in progress. If IGN can do it, I'll do it. So no rules reviews anyway. Am I right? So zero fuck given.
Well, you're certainly more credible than IGN.
so I did it. And then Colt's like, hey man, thanks. Your review tipped me over the edge. So that's cool. And then Colt ended up enjoying the game too. So for me,
it's the cure for the Crackdown delay, baby.
It is. Yes. Like hey, if you were really wanting Crackdown, there you go. You know what I mean?
What's the similarities, guys? Because you guys say that, and I'm not picking up what you guys are putting down. I've watched Crap's review, and I did watch Colt when you streamed it for about an hour and a half the other night. I went on and off the channel. I'm seeing the similarities from maybe a mechanics, but what about the gameplay or the game itself that leads you to believe it's a Crackdown, emulator?
Let me speak on it because I was playing. The shooting's good. The traversal's fun. You're using a bunch of different agents, which you're an agent in Crackdown. So there's that. It's third person. It's open world.
Good point.
Once I was doing like a couple missions, and I went out and I started finding like these crystals you pick up that are hidden all over the city. And every time you pick one up, it's like an orb. Every time you pick one up, you can apply it to a permanent upgrade. And then I saw these glowing chests that you can find that are just hidden around the city, and inside is loot, money, skins, and I'm like, I picked up like 3 or 4 collectibles. I'm like, this is it. This is what I wanted. I'm not even doing the missions right now. I'm jumping around. You triple jump, you dash, you change between your 3 agents on the fly. I was like, frick, man, I wasn't gonna get this game until I saw Craft's like review in progress.
It's fun as hell. That's the thing. Like for me, I started playing it, and I'm like, okay. And the thing is, like Crackdown 3 would have been the first Crackdown to really implement that like double, triple jump, and then that vertical jump as well, like that dash in the air. Yeah. So this has those things, right? And like I said, you're agents, and you can call in a car, and you can switch on the fly, and you got to build your teams with the different powers and things like that, and you go along, and you build up your agency, and you go on, and it's got like this G.I. Joe type.
Yeah, it's very 80s inspired.
Yeah, like cartoonish, like the cutscenes and stuff. It's just really well done the way that they did it.
Dialogue is hilarious.
Yeah, you climb up on the buildings and stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's crazy. It's got a lot of good jokes. The humor to me is really funny. It does a lot of like the non-PC like stereotypical jokes and whatnot, and which I like.
Every character is a stereotype. Too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so you can't be mad at it.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like that is something that's a good way to get me on board with that game. Just you have fun with it. I put something
hashtag fun.
Yep, hashtag fun. And I got to tell you what, it's a lot longer game than I thought too, because I'm at like 15, 16 hours, and
I'm right there with you, Crap. I'm at 18 hours, and I'm not even halfway through.
And there's so much stuff that you can do. There's replayability factor. There's all kinds of stuff. So I
got to tell you, guys, it's my surprise of 2017, and I'm going to tell you this right now. It's going to end up in my top 10 of the year.
Yeah, and
it's so damn good.
I watched quite a bit of footage on when they're kind of showing what the game was going to be, and I didn't realize how open. I just thought it would be like these areas, and you would take waves of enemies in. I didn't realize it was going to be a big open city, and after playing it for like 5 hours, I'm like, this is nothing like what I expected. And I was somewhat interested in it. And now that I'm playing it, it's a totally different game than I imagined. All summer.
Are you guys experiencing any technical glitches, hiccups that are bothering you?
No,
I haven't noticed anything. I mean, it runs good. Like again, I'm on the Xbox One, so it runs fine. I haven't had
apparently the PlayStation 4 is having trouble.
Yeah, that one's also rated lower as well if you look at the reviews and stuff. So
is it a high frame rate game on the consoles, or is it like a 30?
I think it's 30.
Okay.
Is the game worth 60 though?
Yeah, listen, I think it is. So. I really do. I would highly recommend this title. Anyone that likes open world Crackdown type gameplay is going to love this. There's so much to do. You're never standing around saying, "Where do I go next?"
It's something different.
I started it, right? I played maybe like 15 minutes of it, and then I like the humor. Like I get the humor. The humor is great, but I kind of got bored.
The opening's terrible.
15 minutes.
No, the opening's terrible. They have you in this building. You're like the couple characters. You're going through, and they're trying to hold your hand. But once you're in the city, then I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, the opening was awful. I live streamed it. I was trying to talk to everybody, and the next day when I played, I was in the open world. It was my game to play, and that's when it was great. Yeah, the opening was terrible.
I know it almost had an opening like Wolfenstein. You play Wolfenstein, you're like, this sucks. And then you get past that cast, and you're like, this is the greatest game since sliced bread.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of games that do that. And I did notice that, Colt, because I watched my buddy, the Rad Brad, let's do this.
Let's do this.
When he got it right, and he was like, and he got into it. And I'm watching the first 10, 15 minutes, and I'm like, this is nothing like Saints Row. I'm like, this sucks. Yeah. And then you're right, it opened up when it got to the city.
Well, here's the thing. The Saints Row, not like all the Saints Row, a little bit like Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
The person that talks to you is a lot like Kinsey from Saints Row 4, where she's always kind of helping you out and talking to you and stuff over the wire or whatever. You go and do the missions, and there's like a ton of side missions and side things you can do.
So the humor's a lot like Saints Row.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't play like Saints Row, but so why did he even associate it with the other franchise? Why not just
to bring people like, oh hey, this is a
from the developers of Saints Row.
It might be a shared universe.
It is. Yeah. It's a spinoff because Johnny Gat is in it. Yeah. So
they reference other characters, but the humor to me is dumb. It's not always funny. It's just really cheesy. But who cares?
That's what's funny about it to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Fun.
No, see, I love the humor in Saints Row 3 crap.
I think you guys are making There's a lot of games coming out leading up to the fall. I mean, we were talking about Agents of Mayhem. Okay, there's people who are playing Hellblade. The Uncharted series, the Lost Legacy comes out Tuesday. Crap.
Madden
you're good 3-4 hours into that.
They're reporting 7.
$10 an hour.
Yeah, it is an odd. I think they're asking too much for that game. We'll get into that real quick because we were talking about it before the show. Uncharted got a 7.5 out of 10 on IGN, and it got mid to high 80s from almost everybody else. So here's what I've heard of the pros and cons. The pros are it's Uncharted. So if you like Uncharted, congratulations.
You get more Uncharted.
You get more Uncharted.
Yes.
The negative was, and I thought this was the best analogy, it was actually by the Tim Geddes, who I'm still convinced can't even make a ham sandwich if you gave him all the ingredients. But Tim did say something.
Tim.
Yeah, Tim, this is bread.
Maybe you should go back to running the Naomi Kyle's fucking camcorder or whatever the hell that it was that he used to do.
Yeah, the countdown from 5 to 0 before she speaks. Yes, that was his job before. But no, what he did say that was interesting was he said what you're used to with Uncharted games is 3-4 acts or chapters where it builds you up, and then there's the meat in the middle, and then there's the 3, 4, 5 acts build, that bring the story down. And a lot of that story and a lot of these amazing different areas in the game are what make Uncharted so novel. And he's like, okay, so Greg says to Tim, he says, so what's your point? He goes, my point is this game was like I started in chapter 5 and it ended in chapter 10. I didn't get 1 through 4 and I didn't get 11 through 15, meaning it's just the meat. It's like you go in and it's just bang, 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 bang. See you later, Uncharted. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's like, it's Uncharted's fighting this net. He goes, the environments are all what we've seen already. There was nothing new. The puzzles were okay. Nothing really to write home about. I guess there was one part with a pendulum thing.
There were recycled environments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it makes
Even
sense.
The open world thing looks like the open world thing from...
They said the open world thing is very empty, very, there's nothing to do in it. Like, you would think Uncharted, an exploration game where you're like an Indiana Jones type person, and now you're a female protagonist, you'd be able to explore. He said he spent hours exploring for the review. Marty Sleva says for IGN, and he said he ended up with nothing. You'd climb up this huge thing to find there's nothing there. Like, there's nothing to do in this big open area they gave us. So he goes, basically, my recommendation is make sure you just drive from point A to point B and finish it because there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Well, what happened if IGN gave it a 7.5 and everywhere else gave it 9s. What the heck happened?
There were some less than that. You know what I mean? Like, you got some mixed reviews and stuff. Here's the thing. It's DLC, right? Like, it's not like a new Uncharted game. It's DLC. Right. It's rare to even see these places review DLC, but they're only doing it because it's Naughty Dog DLC.
It's
right?
Naughty Dog DLC. So, it's the middle of the summer, but the thing I have a problem with is the money. The money's a problem.
The shine is starting to come off that franchise a little bit because as much as people are like blaming, Microsoft, oh, this is milk, that's milk. This is the second straight year an Uncharted quote-unquote game has released, and that's coming on the heels of the collection. That's coming on the heels of the Vita game, and that's coming on the heels of 3 on the PS3, all since 2007. So in 10 years, you've had a lot of Uncharted, and, eventually that wears down a bit. And I think that you're starting to see that they're recycling ideas.
Right.
They're recycling environments.
I thought Xbox only milked franchises.
That's right. That is correct too, Colt.
It's double standard. Hashtag the media is a
lot. $40, guys, that's a lot for what people are saying is clocked in at 6-7 hours. And it's just basically like Don said, recycled backgrounds, recycled this and that. They really just took the Nathan Drake skin and put a different, female protagonist over it. There's nothing to it. They said that the other counterpart, the other female that's in it, that didn't give her enough of a role. It wasn't really enlightening or interesting to follow her story. So it was just like, it's like if someone said to you, hey, I got something I got to do. They hand you the controller in the middle of the Uncharted 4 series. And then he came back from his event and they're like, let me get my controller back. So you played the 3-4 acts in the middle and that's it. So I don't know. I myself personally, I think because it is what it is. And I think it is Uncharted. I personally will definitely be getting it and playing it right away. Because there's so much coming out starting, this fall that, I think maybe.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can get Madden right now on Xbox One if you have.
It's funny crap. I would encourage anybody to get Madden. Myself personally, I'm out. I don't have any time or need to. Like, I watch so much football. It's stupid. It is kind of dumb how into football I am. I mean, we even moved MNC mornings around the football schedule when we first were coming up with it. It's such a big deal to me that, like, I'm not gonna not watch football to pretend and play football. Like, I'm just not. It's probably the last time I'm buying the show. I bought the show this year for PS4. I played it for like 3 hours.
Well, I played it more than you.
You did.
And after a while, I was just like, I now remember why I only get this.
That's why when people listen, all you guys in the audience, you have no idea how much of a diehard. I'm a New Yorker. I love my baseball. I love my baseball. I've always loved baseball. It's my favorite sport. It's way over football.
Mets.
Right, I do like the Mets. Maybe that's why I have my problems with that. But nonetheless, when all you guys are like, I just want a baseball game. Let me tell you something. Do me a favor. Boost up Sony sales. Go buy the show. Play it for 2 weeks. And then tell me you still want one on Xbox. Like, it is boring as shit to play baseball on a video game system. It's always been like that.
So let me say this. So am I the only one that thinks a 3-year gap is probably perfect for a franchise, right? Like, you do
like
3
Halo
years and you release it another 3 years. You give it the proper time to cook in the oven. You make it so that people are not burnt out on it, and you keep going forward. And then that really, I think, goes with Uncharted, Halo. It doesn't matter what platform it is. It really, 3-year mark is kind of the right mark where you at least get 2 of those games per console till they get to the next generation, right? So
yeah.
On that note, I'm going to leave, guys. I have to help out the GRG guys real quick. Thanks for having me on.
No, thanks for coming on, Don. It was great to have your insight into the business.
Everybody.
Don. Yo, Don, thanks for coming on, bro. It was awesome. I'm not kidding.
All right. Later, guys.
Peace, brother.
Kiss that ring.
Kiss that ring. The Don.
I got in a little bit of trouble on Twitter the other day when we were talking about that Marty how do you say his name?
Sleva.
Yeah. He gave that Uncharted kind of an okay review, and I wrote on Twitter. I said, "Hey, come on, guys! It's Marty. Where's Adam Sessler when we need him?"
Yeah, and I responded to that. Yeah,
I'm one of the few that likes Adam Sessler, and
me too.
The reason why I like certain reviewers, and I think you guys should probably line with this too, but I like certain reviewers because I realize over time that I end up liking the same games that they give good reviews. And so you kind of align yourself. People always say reviews don't matter. Well, they matter to me if that reviewer lines up with me pretty often. And that's what I liked about Adam Sessler. So I said, where is Adam Sessler when we need him? And he responded. And I'm like, oh, crap. He goes, that says Marty's good people. He's a good writer. And I'm like, okay, sorry, buddy. But I would love to see him come back, but I think he's taken such a beating. He doesn't want to do the industry anymore.
No, yeah, Adam got burned on the way out, and I don't blame him either. I mean, and I'm with you, Colt. Adam Sessler was one of the pioneers in the review business as far as I'm concerned. When you watch his review, there was very little bias in there. He was speaking from the heart. The guy played the shit out of a game or he wouldn't give a review. Like he had his rules. He was actually an artist in his career field. He would say, he actually did a show one time. If you watched Colt, I don't know if you saw it, but he actually did a show on how he prepares himself for a review. Like you seen that? He gets he'll get the copy a week before. He's got his meal laid out because he's got to play these games are 20, 30, 40 hours, right? So he tells his wife, he's like, I have, a review coming up. I'm going to be going Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He's not going, he's in his house, but he's like, I'm going to be playing. He's got a diet that he eats a lot of like almonds and walnuts. Yes, high proteins. Yeah, remember? He's like, I eat a lot of high proteins. I keep myself extremely hydrated. He'll have like a ton of water around. And he's like, I play through. Go ahead.
He's so hardcore. No, keep going.
Well, that's my point being is that's how a review is. Now you have people like Marty Sleva and these other jackasses that are out there, and they play a couple hours.
Remember when they had that jackball from GameSpot who reviewed Gears 4? He's like, I don't normally like Gears games, but here's my review. I'm like, freaking
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just ridiculous. They're like, hey, do you like Gears? Not really. Hey, review it for us. It's next month's game. Have fun.
5.5.
I don't like raw fish, but here's my Gertzman did that. Yeah, here's my review on oysters. I don't understand why they have somebody come out and do something when they say they don't like it in the begin with. You're already tainted. It's already tainted.
4 points off the top.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But also we have Recore coming out with a definitive edition. Woo. And, listen, my whole thing with that is this. A lot of people are like, I want it for free. And, the Mooch in me is like, hey, that's fine. But I think that they're going to follow the Ori mantra crap. I think this thing's got $5, $10 written all over it for free.
Well, here's the thing. Customers. I think that they've got to give the content for free that was supposed
I'm almost
to be there.
Positive, guys, that I read, and I really wish I could remember where I read it, that anyone that owns the title is going to basically get the update for free. So basically, you're going to get the definitive edition for nothing.
That would be outstanding.
Listen, I don't know how many people played that game. I'm going to say this. I really had a lot of fun with it. Yes, there was a lot missing, and there was some things wrong with the game. But you know what? It was a lot of fun. It looked really nice. I want to see what it's going to look like with the enhanced stuff.
Right. I don't know. Myself personally, Recore for me.
Out of all the fucking games that looks like they're probably going to get a sequel, Recore.
Recore is going to get this. Well, listen, that's not fair. I'll say this much crap. Recore with the right development staff and money thrown at it, that's a tremendous game.
Look, here's the thing. For me personally,
I didn't like the first one. It seemed empty, but it's got legs.
Well, the problem was the cores. It's like just do a game where you're going through the game and fighting the enemies and stuff like that, and where you can go where you want. Like the cores really drug the game down.
Yeah, because you were locked out of a lot of places if you didn't have.
Yeah, you're starting to have fun, and it's like go find cores, and I can't find a way to get me to get off a game is make me lost in a game, like make me have to go find something to go to advance the story. Right at that point, I'm done.
Right.
So like the game the first I think 6 hours, 7 hours I played, I liked it, and then once I started hitting places where you needed a bunch of cores and I couldn't find them. At that point I was like, I got better shit to do.
Where's the definitive edition of Sunset Overdrive? I freaking love that game.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's another thing that I wanted to bring up earlier in this episode of Crossfire was a few people were going back and forth. I was in this group. Insomniac was writing to a bunch of people, and they were like, "We're ready to do it." They said this the other day. I know they said it a while ago, but they're like, "We're ready to do Sunset Overdrive 2. We just need Microsoft." And Microsoft doesn't even enter the conversation. They're nowhere to be found.
Yeah. Does anyone know the sales numbers for? I mean, was it 1 million? Was it 2 million? Does anyone know?
There wasn't that many Xbox Ones out there, so I think it's like a completely different story now.
Well, it's a different story now.
The reason why I'm asking, and again, Colt, this goes right back to what you're always saying about a double standard. If Neo comes out on the PlayStation 4 and there's 63 million of them, if they sell 1 million, it's a hit. It's a gold star winner.
Sunset Overdrive's at 1.16 million sales.
Okay, so again, here's the thing. Now you move it to the Xbox. That was a media darling. Okay, there's no doubt about it. I beat it. I loved it. I wish I would fly to Redmond tonight to tackle Phil in the parking lot and say, please make a part 2. You're right, Colt. It would be a totally different story, and I'm sorry if that was crap, if they released it now.
Oh, yeah.
So why is it okay for Neo to sell 1 million, and that's a Gold Star winner?
Neo is not as an expensive game, I don't think. And this is what people have to look at what's a AAA game. Part of what makes a game a AAA game is the budget for marketing as well. So I had this talk, or not, I wouldn't say argument, but I had this talk with someone today about Horizon Zero Dawn, and I said, you know what, the game sold 3 million,
right?
But I don't think it made Sony any money. And here's the reasoning behind that. If you look at the game, what it cost to make, what it cost to market, which they marketed it everywhere. Look at all the commercials you saw, all that stuff. That all costs money. So let's say that game cost $70 million to make and market, right? Because it was a new game, a new engine, all that kind of stuff, right? The only thing really that makes Sony anything on that is the fact that it brings awareness to your brand, and it's a well-reviewed game.
Yes.
So I'm like, this person was like, well, do the math, $60 at 3 million or whatever. I'm like, they're not getting 60 million or $60 per thing. They're probably getting 20 or 30.
Right.
They're not.
Well, the marketing, I guarantee you, was actually more than the game itself.
Probably, because even look at The Witcher, right? Or what was The Witcher? They spent like 70 million or whatever. I mean, they made that back. But you also have to look at a game like what the hell is it? Rise of the Tomb Raider reboot, right? They said this game needs to sell between 5 and 7 million to be a success, just to break even, right? Same thing with that Team Bondi did that Rockstar game. What the hell is that fucking game? You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Club.
No.
State of Emergency?
Bondi. No. They did. What the hell did they do? LA Noire, right? That game sold over 5 million and they lost money.
Yeah, that was awful.
So, no, that game's amazing.
I hated it.
Oh my god,
I would literally say that's probably the game I've hated the most in the last 2 generations. Like you sit there,
oh my god,
and it's like read his eyes, read her eyes, and I'm like, I read them, and I guessed, and they're like, that was the wrong eye count. I'm like, what? Like, come on.
It was like
that game was amazing. They had like facial animation tech that they invented some facial animation tech
that they never used again.
No, that was the start of that. That's what we're
using now.
Every time you see a game, it's almost every game where it's got facial capture. That's like almost. That's like
it does have the facial, but I've never seen a game reiterate what Noir was trying to do with the decision is off of the facial expression. I haven't seen that.
Right. Yeah, well, I thought that was interesting. That was awesome.
It was interesting. I just didn't think it worked, but.
I like that, but like by the time the third disc came around on the Xbox 360 version, I got bored. You know what I mean? But I still beat it.
About that, that was so ridiculous. Once in a while, I used to Redbox a game to try it out, and it's like, nope, it's not in Redbox. It's like 4 discs on the 360.
Yeah, that's so
that
true.
ending kind of smacks you in the face. You're like, you die. Just spoiler. I was like, what the hell?
The game's 100 years old. I don't think anyone's gonna care.
Yeah.
I like to do that. I like to spoil something and then go spoiler. As we get close to the end here, Mooch.
Crap with the vocal 2-hour alarm. Very nice. That's new. I like that. No, we are getting next to our 2-hour mark. We did hit all of my my subjects for the most part. I got to say every one of them was hit. Listen, guys, I do want to say something else. A lot of people in the chat, you're like, a lot of ups and downs on the opinions of what people were saying. Of course, I take most of the brunt of it. It is my channel, but I mean. My point is this. You don't have to agree with everything we're saying. And not everything is just roses and fucking sunflowers, okay? We don't all live in Seattle. It is,
Every company, thank God, every company doesn't do everything right. You know what I mean? Right. And if you disagree with Mooch or whoever, just leave a comment in his comment section.
I think it's safe to say that we're fans, and you're not a true fan if you are a fanboy if you just a yes man.
Right.
Oh, everything is fine. Everything is great. Let's, drink some more lattes. No.
Yeah, we've always been like this. You know what I mean? Boom.
Yeah, we will talk about the good things Microsoft does, but when they drop the ball. Listen, so it's our voice that's going to get someone to do something.
Now you hope, anyways. You hope that somebody hears, and I mean, sometimes things you have to be like the truth hurts. You know what I mean? Like it sucks sometimes.
Fire Shannon.
Hashtag what crap said. It's like, no, I don't. My whole thing is, I just think that it's like, I think that sometimes you have to shake things up, and crap goes a little bit far with the fire thing. I never said. I think really what you need to do is there needs to be a shuffling, because when the whole thing went down,
her ass right out the building.
When the whole shit went down in 2013, the same group of people except for Donnie are all still there. So a lot of things did.
Well, they did get rid of some people. The guy that was like. They did get rid of some.
They got rid of James. They got rid of Phil Harrison, but he was in Europe. Nobody cared anyways. Nobody over in the UK studios making an executive decision.
They got rid of that one guy who used to do like the Snap stuff. I forget his name. He's working for some other company.
Well, yeah, they got rid of Snap. So so I guess then you just get rid of him.
Yeah.
They erased him from existence.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It is what it is, folks. Don't hate us because we're giving our opinions. That's what the show's all about. I mean, Howard Stern's one of my favorite people on the radio. There's times he's talking and I'm like, I do not agree with him. But it's still an entertaining show, and it's great to get a different perspective. So keep your ears open, keep your mind open, and let's go through our outros, because like Crap's saying, we do have the longest outros in the history. Crap Gamer, why don't we start with you? What do you got going on, buddy?
Well, we got MNC evenings tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm throwing this out there, just because Jay's on vacation Sunday, and we wanted to do something pre-Gamescom for MNC. So we're going live tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern on my channel. We've got Jay with us. We've got voicemails, a ton of them. We've got everything that we normally would, but it's going to be in the evening. So it's good. It should be a damn good show. And hopefully you guys can tune in. Yeah,
honestly, that's a great point, Crap. We are doing it this one special one because it is Gamescom, and also Jay's on vacation. So we didn't want to. We saw the last time we did a pre-recorded with voicemails, and you guys wanted it live. So we're doing it live.
They were like, do it live. They were like, it's not live.
So
we're doing calls and everything.
And Crap, you forgot to mention, we're also going to be doing a Mooch and Crap interviews at the same time on Sunday at 11 a.m.
Sunday,
we're interviewing a developer, and it is going to be a really good time. So we'll see you guys then there as well. It'll be an MNC interviews. Let me go to my next great usual suspect, Clowns. 4 Guys with Quarters. I tuned in last night. A lot of fun to talk to you and the guys. Assassin's here in the chat today. Shout out to Assassin. Assassin was wrecking you, by the way, Crap, while you were giving your opinions on things.
Oh, that's the joke.
Yeah, Assassin goes, by the way, Crap Gamer could tell shit is fun. There's the joke. That's the joke. It was great. Assassin. So 4 Guys was great yesterday, Clowns. Where can we find you, though, bro?
Thanks, man. Every Thursday between 7 or 7:30, we start 4 Guys with Quarters on YouTube. The number 4 Guys with Quarters, all is one word. And come check us out. And always a pleasure being here, Mooch.
Awesome, Clowns. Always good to have you. Mr. Boomstick. Boom. Thanks for your opinions. I know you wanted to get a lot off your chest. I think you got a chance to do that tonight.
Oh, absolutely.
Where can people find you on Twitter?
At Mr. Boomstick XL. The community has been super supportive, and since being on the show, the amount of followers I have is astounding.
Listen, it's only going to grow. Good news is you're getting mainly the good, not the bad yet.
You know what? I got to tell you, the community that follows this channel, that follows the rest of the Xbox channels that we listen to regularly, your RDX and your Xbox Nation.
That's right.
This is the greatest community I've ever been a part of, and it is an absolute honor to be a part of this community.
No, it really is. The Xbox community is welcoming, and they all game. I mean, I turn my Xbox on at night. It's just a pick of what game and who's jamming out with what. It is a great community. So, Boom, thank you for your contribution tonight as well. And last but not least here, Mr. Colt Eastwood. Colt, thanks for coming on the show. And, it's nice to have someone like you come on, because you kind of got a PC following behind you that I think you're trying to lose the trail of them. But it always seems like you're catering to them, but at the same time, you're always put a fork in the road. You're like, I hope they turn left. But you know what? It's great to have you, bro. And I like getting your opinion on shit. So, thanks for coming out tonight. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Colt Eastwood on YouTube and Colt Eastwood on Twitter. And I just put up a video about this whole, Xbox needs to sell their brand, that whole thing. I've got a nice little surprise in there. So
Nice.
you guys will have to check that out.
Most definitely. Everybody check out Colt's video. And let me do a shout out for the Don. Don actually reached out to me. He said so many things were going on. The Don. Don reached out to me early this morning. He's like, Mooch, if you don't mind, because he works and he's West Coast. So he's like, believe it or not, this is one of those odd Fridays where I'm home. He's like, I wouldn't mind joining if you got a spot. I said, Don, it's always good to have you because Don is a developer. He knows what's going on behind the scenes, and he doesn't fanboy out. He kind of spits the truth. So, Don, thanks for coming on the show. Everybody do check out GRG Podcast is going live now with my brother. We've got my boy K-Mega. And
K-Mega, what? We got to say what?
That's right. What? But no, K is great.
We got to say what?
The man is so passionate. It's unbelievable. And shout out also to Xbot448 who couldn't make it tonight, but will be joining back with us next week. Everybody, enjoy your weekend. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, M&C evening, 7 p.m. Eastern. And I believe, Crap, it's your channel.
Yes.
So it's going to be great. It's just, and trust me, guys, the stuff we're working on, M&C's looking better and better.
Oh, my gosh. You might have saw
surprised.
a little tease tweet yesterday, man.
Yes.
Like the shit that we've got. Oh, man. This thing is
Good
going
stuff.
to be great.
Great community activity. Awesome shit.
In fact,
Guys,
Mooch messaged me off of Agents of Mayhem last night on Xbox. He's like, put the controller down.
I'm like, put the controller down and get your ass in here and work on an M&C. He's like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do this.
No, let's do this, guys. It's going to be great. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next Friday. Peace.
See ya.